Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to the Hump Day event that we call Spaced Out Radio. I am Dave Scott. I'm the guy who wears a lot of tin foil along with each and every one of you. And no, I'm not Santa Claus with the white beard. I still got a darker mustache for the time being. Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron are our guests tonight as we're going to get into all things UFO. And the best part about it all, we have all of you here. We got Race Fan in the gold medal position. Jimmy J. Jordan Gonzalez with a silver, his first medal. Kevin Kennedy taking home a bronze medal tonight. Hi, Kitty Caddywhack. How you doing? Little Cam, what's happening? Little Cam literally doing 850 jumping jacks in 7 minutes. Yeah, he is sweating, pouring down the water on the back of his neck to cool down for tonight's show. Michael Kennedy, how you doing? Robert Lamoth, Frankie B., good to have you both here. Necessary Dialogue, what's happening? Paramarv, good to see you. Mel WD40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show because you always want to go into a show with Dolly and Preston very lubed up, nice and smooth, because you don't want any rigidness. It never feels good when you're rigid talking UFOs. That's why I get the lube. Cosmic Joe, how are you? Nice to see you. Little Timmy James, good to have you in studio. Hillbilly Herb is here. Hillbilly Herb will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Bar Madison, how you doing? Cosmic Joe, thank you very much for kicking off this super chat tonight. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you very, very much. Moving on with our roll call. Road Flare is here. Hi there, Richard Minnick. Thomas Rock, how you doing? Jeremy Jones is back. Jeremy Jones will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. He will not sign if you make eye contact. He hates that. Don't even bother. Carol Amerio, how are you? Operation Shutdown in the studio. Deanna Ann, nice to see you all here. Phyllis Boucher Perry, thanks for coming on in. Al Garay over on Twitch. Overhead pressed 400 pounds 37 times. He's ready to lift that TV on Black Friday. This guy's ready to kick ass and take names. He's going to do it old school on Black Friday. Remember, America, if we're going to get back to some normalcy, we got to get ready to beat the shit out of each other on Friday at Black Friday. Okay? If we're not going to do it, then I'm going to be disappointed. Human Carl, how are you, my friends? Great veteran of the United States Air Force, that Human Carl. We love him around here. Resonate, how you doing? And who else do we have here? We have, scrolling on down, Mark Eddy. What's happening, my man? Ms. Mary, looking lovely. Laura Elizabeth, how are you? Jay Truthseeker, Marie Palmer, how you doing? Lee the Bee, Millennium, my man. Walter, good to have you here. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby finally arrives. We haven't had a show in weeks because he hasn't been here, but we can finally get in tonight's show. Tets, where have you been hiding? Good to have you here. Hi, Jennifer Beveridge. Hope you're enjoying the snowfall. Jessica S. Space, how are you? Richard Minnick, thank you for that lovely super chat, my man. Very much appreciate the love. Thank you very, very much. Cowie Schneider, nice to see you. La 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 la. Bright. Good to have you here, Lala. Much love to you. I love her. She's awesome. Scrolling on down. Who do we have next? Let's see here. Super Crazy. How you doing? And we're caught up. Let's get the radio side going. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We're going to take a look at UFOs around the world, the big stories going on. Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron are our guests tonight, as we're going to have a great time with them. We are in roll call right now as we say hello to Woo Am I, Yennefer with a soft J, Fast Hemi, Michael Dyer. Nice to see you both here. Deal you Woo-Poog. Thanks for coming on in. Hi there, Noble Patrick. Good to see you. All right. We got a great show. And remember, the super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. Chill Farm, how you doing? Joanne and the Dead Man. Good to have you here. Wonder if that's the Undertaker. Could be. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So go shopping on our website while you listen. Throw those horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I'm your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out, Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our site as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Jive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Jive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got a great show ready to go for you tonight. Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron are here for another great musical that we call UFOs around the world. And yes, there will be singing. Yes, there will be laughing. And yes, we're going to get into it all. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller. I actually recorded it tonight. We'll have a great, great story for you. Follow that up. The UFO report. Little Timmy James is in studio for another wonderful report. Let's get right to it. Probably the best author in telling stories of firsthand encounters is Preston Dennett when it comes to everything UFO, extraterrestrial, and beyond. His website, prestondennett.weebly.net or .com, there we go, is where you can find his books, or on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Preston is literally one of the most respected writers in this field. Why? Because his research is second to none when it comes to telling the true tales that people have had with encounters with extraterrestrials, UFOs, and everything in between. Joining us as well is Preston's much prettier half. No offense, Preston, but much prettier half. I know you're shocked on that. Dolly Saffron is here. Dolly is one of the most vocal experiencers out there, using her contacts, her information, and her experiences, not only to bring awareness to the public, but to also bring awareness to people who may wonder if they have contact. She helps counsel them. She helps walk them through what they may have had happen to them. It's a power couple of ufology. Dolly Saffron, Preston Dennett. It is always a pleasure to have you two friends on our show. And I apologize, Preston, but Dolly's prettier. I'm not going to lie.
I agree, of course. There's no competition.
Thank you.
You doing
I
well,
think
Preston?
it's cute as hell. Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Wonderful. Wonderful. There's been a lot happening since we had you on the air a couple months ago. You know, not only have we lost a couple of people recently in the UFO world, people of importance, but we had the UFO hearings, we had the Arrow hearings, we've got orbs and drones being seen everywhere. I don't even know where to start tonight with you guys besides a cheap introduction into what you guys are all about, because Preston, for years, decades, you have been one of the, I'm going to use the word premier people when it comes to bringing these stories and encounters to light of people. And it's something you're amazing at. It's something you're great at. Why did you take this stance of telling people stories in your books?
Oh gosh. Well, primarily because I find it interesting and there's not enough people doing it. You know, I'm putting out books I would like to read personally. And there just aren't that many out there where people are, putting out new and original material. I love the Roswell case. Don't get me wrong. It's the case that keeps on giving. But if I have to see one more book about Roswell, I'm going to lose my mind. Or someone publishing a replay of Travis Walton and Betty and Barney Hill and all these cases we've seen over and over again. I like new information. And I think we still have a whole lot to learn. Each case provides another piece of the puzzle. I think we're now real close to the point where we shouldn't even be calling this a mystery. We know what it is. They're ETs. UFOs are extraterrestrial craft. But yeah, still a lot to learn about who they are, why they're here, what it's going to mean for our future. It's just an endlessly interesting subject. I love it. Once you're in, it's hard to get out, I guess. If you know what I mean.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. You know, as we approach the 10th anniversary of Spaced Out Radio this weekend, it is something that, many a times I wondered, is this all worth it? Is this all, worth the time, the effort, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the trolls, the anxiety, the UFO public making you promises and then going and taking that story somewhere else? And you know what? In the end, it's about the people. It's not about the personal gains. It's about the people who you're helping in getting those encounters. So that way they can sit there and think, wow, if this is happening to somebody else, I can talk about mine publicly too. And Dolly, you're a prime example of this, being a lifelong experiencer.
Yep. Is nothing like getting it off your chest. You can spend an entire lifetime thinking that if you open your mouth, and I've had this experience very young, so I stopped talking to everybody, where people threaten you, they treat you like, like you don't mean anything, like you're crazy, all that stuff. And then you wake up one day and you go, you know what? I'm just not going to keep this a secret anymore. It has to come out. It's too prevalent in everybody's rhetoric behind the scenes. There are too many of us starting to talk, behind the wire, so to speak. Okay. And it just needed to come out. And I'm glad it is, because I think we're the only ones who are really giving full total disclosure, are the experiencers and the researchers who talk to them as well,
Yeah, I see some experiencers who kind of make a little flash in the pan and then they're gone. There's some researchers who've been around for years, and then one day they're like, they can't take it anymore, and they're out. So I'm in it for the long haul, and I'm hoping Dolly is too.
Not going anywhere. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Preston, is it worth it? Are there that many stories out there that need to be told?
I think so. I think this is probably one of the most important subjects facing humanity today. And it would be absolutely a different story if there wasn't a carefully orchestrated, really well-funded, brutal cover-up and suppression of UFO evidence and information, a disinformation campaign. It would be different if this wasn't so common and people aren't talking about it. Right. Most people, like Dolly, do not talk. They keep it quiet. So yeah, it's absolutely worth it. It's the most rewarding thing when you have people contact you and thank you for putting out that video or that book or that story where they got confirmation. I mean, I've had people call me weeping, others like absolutely over the moon ecstatic because I put out some like high strangeness aspects sometimes. They're like, I'm so glad you said that. I've never heard this before. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. So yeah, it's absolutely worth it. This subject is going to change the world. At some point, it's going to change everything. Economics, business, religion, science, education, all of it.
I agree with you there. I really do agree that we are on the precipice of change if the public can actually handle it and more so accept this story, and I think the subject is worth it too. And Dolly, I know you wouldn't be in it if you didn't think it was worth it, but you come at it from an experiential side. How have you watched experiencers change over the years with being more brave to come out and say what happened to them as this topic has grown in publicity?
Well, the very first thing that I noticed right off the bat was that once I brought my story out and people were talking about it with me, I was getting people saying, it's weird. I didn't think that I was okay until I heard you say what you did. And your story is like there are elements of your story that are dead on, like just like what I've gone through. I've seen the same things you have. And I'm thinking, oh, good. Corroboration is a really good motivator. It helps give you a little bit more confidence to let it out. We keep telling people all the time, since I came out, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, why you are. If you've had these experiences and they're not going away for you and you keep feeling it every day, you need to let that be your sign that you need to deal with it. And one way to deal with it is definitely to start telling your story. Preston is doing a thing on his YouTube channel where people challenged him to find their hometown, and he finds stories of contact in their hometowns. And oh my!
Any place on earth, name a town, I will find a case there, guaranteed.
They're coming out of the woodwork, and what impressed the heck out of me, it's not only they're being substantiated and corroborated, but there are police reports. There are all kinds of evidence behind those stories, things that have been in the papers, things that have been talked about in police departments all over the place. And all he has to do is go back and start pulling the data up, and poof, there it is. And it's everywhere you go. And from my side of it, from working the way I have with ET, I knew that already, but it's doggone glad to see people wanting to know, people wanting us all to start digging for the truth. I want everybody to dig for the truth. It's not that hard to find it. Not at all. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I love it when people get corroboration. Just recently, we were talking with a contactee, Karen Holton, and she's like, Dolly, your story, you validated my own experiences, because Dolly's describing things, and it went vice versa too, because Dolly's like, I know she's telling the truth because she described something that Dolly had never even shared with me, because
right,
a lifetime of experience.
It was embarrassing. That's why.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
There was another time, Dolly described having held an ET book, her book. And I got a lot of people contacting me saying, oh, I know she's telling the truth because I had that same exact experience. And you don't hear hardly anything about ET books. Mm-mm. So that was another weird high strangeness thing that just goes under the radar there, because people are still nervous about talking about it, especially if it's super weird.
What makes it super weird now? You've heard so many stories, both of you. Dolly, we'll start with you on this one. What makes something super weird for you to all of a sudden say, wow, never knew that?
Oh, well, the thing Karen Holton was talking about, she's been in a few places that I've been in. One of the systems that I was in on a planet we were visiting, it was sort of like a celebration of sorts, and there was this animal that they had in an environment, like at a zoo, but it was just this one animal. And I was fascinated with it. It's pretty big. I mean, it was as big as a big dog, and it was funky looking because it looked like a badger and a skunk all at one time. Okay, it was huge. And I kept staring at it, and they said, do not go near that thing. Just don't go near it. And I'm an idiot sometimes. I love animals. I can hear them thinking, and this thing was looking dead at me. Knew it was scoping me out. I thought, okay, I'll just be friendly with it a little bit. I no sooner made it up to the edge of where that environment was, it flung around and shot me like a skunk would shoot you full of yuck. And it went all over my body. And I flung myself to the ground because it did not feel good. And they were grabbing me and dragging me. And they had to clean me up because it was worse than any skunk I'd ever met. And it embarrassed the hell out of me. I mean, I did a really dumb thing that day. And here Karen Holtney is talking about the same bloody thing. She didn't get shot as bad as I did, but yeah. And I thought, that can't come out of nowhere. Okay. That can't come out of nowhere. I didn't tell anybody about this the entire time I've been alive. Nobody, not even my mom and dad. I kept it to myself. And then here she is, whoop, whoop, talking about it, described it exactly the same thing. And I thought, well, heck, you know, it's like, it was a validation for me that she was, I mean, I knew she was telling the truth, but it's like, here's your sign, you know, here it is. And I think if more people talk and more people share their experiences, they start seeing the synchronicities or the connecting the dots to what the real truth is, to what's really out there and what's really going on. You know, it's important. I mean, just
weird becomes normal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the first kind of really weird things that made me really kind of tilt my head was when a contactee described waking up and had her bed quilt rolled up like a Tootsie Roll and tucked over her neck and tucked into the mattress so that she could barely get up. And then I started hearing that from other people. And, you know, I recently interviewed a guy who had that same experience, but he and his brother were rolled up like burritos in their blanket so that they couldn't get out, neither of them, and switched beds, which is a funny joke, I think, on the ET's part.
No.
I don't know how else to take it. Whatever. But yeah, this other guy, he contacted me, and I had sent him his chapter in the book and had him go over every experience, and he okayed it. He read that chapter, and he's like, sorry, I didn't tell you this, but I had that same exact experience.
It's a sign that you've been contacted. They leave it so that you wake up knowing this is not a joke. This really happened to you. It helps your memory stay intact. You know, you don't forget that way.
Right.
That's when they do that.
I don't think it's an accident.
No, it's not.
Now I've heard enough times where it's not weird to me. This isn't weird to me anymore. This is my life. This is normal. So it's kind of still interesting, but the whole, oh my God, this is hard to process, is kind of fallen a little bit to the wayside. It has to be really weird to shock me or be unique, because I've heard a lot of these kinds of things.
You call it normal. Other people will say it's strange, it's weird. How do we get over the public persona? I mean, you take these topics seriously, both of you, so do I. But how do we get over that hump of trying to bridge the gap between this being normal compared to what the mainstream would believe that this is just stupidity and a waste of time and imagination?
Oh, that's a good question. How do you compare and contrast something? I would venture to start off by saying to them, look, you all have games that you play that are super off the dial. You watch movies that are not true, that make you think they are. Okay, you watch implausible reality all the time in everything you do, and you walk in that non-reality. And yet, when reality steps in front of you, you think that's weird. No, it's not. I have a hard time with that, and I wonder if we were trained to think that way, so that when reality did show up, we weren't going to walk into it properly. You know. So that's the first idea I throw out there to people. It's like, you need to think about this. You need to critically not poo-poo things until you look at your situation and where you're at and what's going on around you, and start venturing into reality by researching it yourself, you know?
Yeah, I think we need to educate people. We need to get this subject into some primary school textbooks, which, may sound like quite a reach, but honestly, I think we have enough reports now where that's absolutely, something we could and should do. It's all about education, because we have a database, a worldwide database of millions of encounters at this point. I mean, there's no doubt this is real. Anyone who has any skepticism at all really hasn't done their homework. And I don't mean to be brutal this way, but it's just the honest truth. How many cases do you need to say that this is real? We're past that. We're long past that. And I think we're really close to it being accepted. I mean, we're made huge progress, especially the last 5 or 10 years, where it's now being talked about, not in a great way, but talked about in official circles.
Yeah. The government has made a huge mistake in the way that they're dealing with this. Okay. One, we know that they're not telling us the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We know that they're hiding things from us. It's evident. But there's whole groups of people out there that when they do say, yes, it's real, this is happening, and they show gun camera footage of them, that there's a whole huge section and population of the world that's going, that's fake. They can't be, it's not. And I wonder where that's coming from. And I've critically thought about it. And I know a lot of it's coming from people who are very ultra religious. And the very first thing they go to, it's demons. Okay. Or they're just telling us lies, more lies to confuse us about what's really going on. It's another ruse on their part. And
they've been lied to for so darn long.
That they don't believe anything. I don't know. But it's amazing to me. Then you have experiencers like me who have footage, okay, and put it out there, and they say absolutely nothing to me about it. Nothing. I don't get many. I get some people go, oh my God, and some people will actually ask me questions, but the majority of people, they'll click on it, they'll say, oh, I like it, but they have nothing to say. It's like, why? Why is that happening to you? And I'm not the only one with footage. I'm not the only one. I know that people are tired of seeing lights in the sky and not actual craft. Okay. And now it's confusing because we back engineered so much stuff. We have so much technology out there that looks ET-ish that people are even more confused. They don't know what they're looking at one way or the other. And it's going to cause some terrible, serious surprises for everybody on both sides. Governments who want to war with one another have developed technology that looks like ET and can scare the dog out of everybody. And they're using it. They're already beginning to use it. Okay. They have orb technology. They have flighted orbs. And when you see them, when they're not lit up by sunlight, like you can actually see the skin of them, you can see they're metallic. You can see that they have rivets in them and they're constructed. Okay. But when they're moving and anti-grav, and they can do that, it freaks people out. They say, oh no, that's ET, blah, 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 blah. You don't know what you're looking at. They also have drones now that are ultra high advanced drones, and they're using them. I want to tell you something. Being in the military has afforded me some lessons that I would like to convey to everybody. Way back when, in the early 2000s, one of the things that on every base in this country, they had what they call battle labs. And there were soldiers who were being trained in them to remotely drive those types of craft, drones and orbs. And they spent half of their career in those labs constantly working on it, flying them, taking off with them, living outside of, in Panama City, off a Air Force base there that had nothing but drones on it for the longest time because of bad things that were happening up north, and they brought them down in 2017, 2016. And then when we got hit by Michael, they cleared the base again, and now it's one of the U.S. Space Force ports. And they got more drones that you can't even believe out there. And they look like ET craft. Okay? They've designed them to fool you. And most people, so I'm of the opinion, when I look at what the government's saying, yes, there's ET craft, and they're only showing you gun footage, when they could be showing you the 7 other cameras that every jet has in full HD 1060p color of the real of what's really going on, that you can't mistake what you're looking at. They show you the bad battle footage.
Dolly Saffron, Preston Dennett, here on Spaced Out Radio. When we return, drones are everywhere. UAPs are everywhere. Drones are not UFOs, people.
Nope.
We'll get into it next on Spaced Out Radio. All right. There we go.
Where's your guy that does all the art?
He's in the busy season right now, so
Oh, wow.
he's having to work late at nights. Can you believe that there are people who actually bitch about him? There was a comment on our YouTube channel. What's with the guy drawing? Waste of time or something along those lines, right? And we're like, one second here. Cielo and J. Paul, we do not talk politics in the chat room. And there's no insulting my mods over him trying to shut down the talk on it. Got it? So sit back, enjoy the woo, keep the politics off while we're on the air. That's the only thing we ask. Thank you, guys. But like, it's always people who listen for the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I've noticed something about this guy. When he's drawing, he's a little bit intuitive, I think, or a lot intuitive, because sometimes he'll start drawing things that actually mean something. Okay. They have import. And I'm watching him and I'm thinking, and this is late at night, it's like, I wonder if he realizes he's doing that. He goes right to the point sometimes when he's drawing. It's amazing. It's like,
all artists are psychic. Pretty much.
He has big name people in the UFO world who are actually very, very, how can I put it? Very big fans of his. One that I can say, last year, Brandon Fugel bought like 20 of his books to give away to people at Skinwalker, as well as Christmas presents around his office.
That's
very
nice.
cool.
That is nice.
Yeah.
That's totally cool.
So,
yeah, well, I notice when people are bad mouthing and trolling, often they're using a fake name and a fake avatar. They're hiding. Right. It's like,
right?
But don't be a coward. Say it to my face.
Oh no, but you got to realize the internet warriors who worry about things like dirty filth, drawing a cartoon on a show for entertainment. Those are the type of people who probably drive a beige Volvo, 4 doors, and they're a single person. And if that's what they have to bitch about in their life,
Something okay. I know.
Person who bitches at kids playing in a park because they're having fun, or a person who brings their toddler to a dog park and can't understand why their toddler gets run over by dogs.
Yeah, I saw a lady on TV. She sued every house around her, all 4 houses. One for a tree. The other kid was playing basketball. The other played music too loud. The court system could not handle her. That's her thing. She sues people.
Wow.
I don't get it.
It's unfortunate.
We may be teaching people to act that way sometimes, I think. Entitlement is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're all in this soup together and we all need to cooperate, and that's not a thing anymore. It needs to be.
Maybe another thing we need to teach in primary school. Morality, compassion, oneness, meditation. Let's teach meditation.
Or Or we could just tell them, please, 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 for the love of God and all things holy, go get laid. Right? Let's be honest.
Yeah, you don't have life.
We could talk about meditation and spiritual, Zen and Chi and all that, but in the end,
you lonely, go find somebody. Oh gosh. Oh wow. Well, it's too short to do this by yourself anyway, and I don't know.
Like,
we're all human.
They're straight again and get laid. LOL. That's right. Thank you tonight to Cosmic Joe, Richard, Lala, Mel WD40, and Search and Destroy for the super chats. Troy Dudley, how you doing? And here we go. With the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We will continue the UFO talk with Preston and Dolly coming up momentarily. Want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron, the world of UFOs. What is happening? What's going on? I know you guys are big time following what is happening around the world, and we have more drones being seen everywhere. And it is causing concern for those in the government, for those at airports, for those at military bases and nuclear facilities, even though that was 50 years ago almost.
Yep.
Preston, Dolly, what do you think is with this new drone surge around military installations, Preston?
I can only speculate, but it really feels like this is very carefully put out. I won't call it misinformation, but a sort of a narrative of, I don't quite know how to word it. It feels like they're trying to steer the way people think about this subject. And of course, there's the whole fear narrative being put forth. I think that's part of it. If there's a drone flying over a sensitive nuclear base, they know where it came from. They know whose it is. They could shoot it down in an instant. It's not a threat. I don't know exactly what the purpose for this is, but I don't like it. I think it's nonsense.
Actually, there is a reason for it. The very first reason is the military uses them as lookouts. They're wonderful. If you've got a base that's operating and it's getting ready to do something, you're going to surround it with eyes on. Eyes above, eyes below. And it is a tactic of self-defense. Every base in this country and around the world protects itself. And instead of having guards at the gates, now they can fly drones all over the place. They've got their own little army of drones up there, and they're watching everything. They're not just watching what's surrounding the base. They're watching everything coming up to the base at what you're doing. They can see you for miles.
Yes, but don't call them UFOs. Don't call them UAPs. No, they know what these are.
Correct.
It's a little ridiculous.
I think this is a great example of these drone incursions as to try and bring understanding the difference between UFOs and UAPs.
That's a good point. You should. Yeah, it should.
You don't hear them talking about these being UFO incursions.
Nope.
And when they were talking back when the balloon incidents were happening in 2022, 2023, they were saying this was not a UAP, this was not a UFO. Okay? Yep. And now we're seeing UAP linked with drones.
right?
I
Or
was told
balloon.
I was told by a couple of insiders a while ago
Okay.
that there is a huge difference. Now, the UFO community doesn't want to believe that because we have to be indoctrinated with the 2017s and the whole UAP fiasco rather than just calling it UFOs and separating the two. But I think this was a ploy to hide those drone technologies, to hide that whatever technology they have. I had one person who worked at a secretive base tell me point blank they loved it when people were reporting UFOs and what they were flying. They loved it because that means they were doing their job secretly. And I think we have to get smarter, Dolly, on the
Yeah.
fact that there is a difference here.
Yes, absolutely. There is a giant difference. I've flung the word out about 1 billion times, and people are just now starting to hear it. There are TR-3Bs. They exist. They look like doggone triangle UFOs. They fly like them too. Okay. There are rectangular drones that they have, and depending on which direction you're facing them or how you're looking at them, they're matte black. They're stealth black. Okay, but they're loaded with laser cannons. These things are deadly, and they can hover over you going about 45 miles an hour over your head, anywhere from 50 feet up. And people are saying, oh, no, that's a UFO. No, if you see a matte black anything, it is not a UFO. They don't fly anything matte black, period, the end at all. They don't need stealth technology. We do. And there's the orb ones that they're around. Then there are those that have... they sort of look like it's a wing, it's not a triangle, but it's a wing. And you see one side, boomerang, yeah. And one side is just slightly longer than the other one, okay? There's a reason for that, by the way. And they light up like Christmas trees. They have lights all around the sides of them, in the tails of them. Those are not UFOs. A real UFO is going to have three things going on with it. It's going to be... if you see it in the daylight and you can see it without the sun glinting on it, you're going to see pure metal, glassy like chrome metal. No rivets, no joints, no nothing. It is absolutely smooth as heck. And they're dead silent unless you have super hearing and you can hear it's either a really low thrum or a really high-pitched buzzing sound that they'll emit when they're coming down. There's another thing about UFOs that are absolute. They can be in plain sight and you not see that they're there. That's a real UFO. And if suddenly something goes and it appears out of freaking nowhere, you're looking probably at a real UFO. They do not try to come down 50 feet over your head because they emit literally electromagnetic radiation that is not healthy for you and me. Nobody. They also have, when their emitters are working, they can EMP any electrical device around you in your vicinity. They can knock out whole neighborhoods. They can knock out whole cities. They can knock out your car, depending on which way they're emitting their signal for levitate, to keep them up on a field line. There's other things about UFOs. People generally hear them in their head because they're communicating as they come down. They will notify humans that they're there. And when people hear, like when I'm listening to an experiencer talk, every experience that I know that's on the job, they've got this, they know, can hear them talking to them. They almost warn them that they're coming. Hey, how you doing? Don't panic. Don't freak out. We're here. It's okay. And when they bring them aboard, they tell them the same thing. It's all right. You're fine. We're not going to, you're okay. People, this stuff with the triangles scares everything out of everybody. I've never heard of one landing and picking people up. I never hear a story about a TR-3B doing that. You got to add all those stories up and you say, not picking people up. What's up with that? Or notifying anybody that they're there. ET loves experiencers. They love all of us who will hear them and see them for real. They'll talk to you all day long. That's why experiencers are so important, by the way. It's amazing to me that the stories are being, how do I put it, spun in the direction that the government wants to spin them, and experiencers are getting shoved to the side with the real real deal of them. Most experiences, if you say UAP to one, they'll say, it's not a UAP, it's a UFO.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Which is why they're not putting contactees before Congress. But there's also the way they move too, a little bit, right? I mean, a
Yeah,
UFO
like
has a
if one's coming down and it's going to hover over you and not move in any direction, it looks like it's a boat on the water. They dip. They do this.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You might even see a pendulum movement.
Yeah. You know, it's like a little boat on the water.
They can also dart from one side of the sky to the other in a way that ours can't. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes, and they can also jump straight up into the atmosphere in under a second while you watch. None of our stuff can do that. UFOs can move more than Mach 7 in atmosphere here, okay? They move about 13,000 feet per second. That's Mach 7 from a standstill to that speed. None of our stuff can do that. None of our stuff can do that. If you say, I see one and it took them a few minutes to go across the sky, I don't think that's an ET. They don't move that slow at all. Not at all. They're either there or they move out rapidly in seconds. You remember the one over Israel, where it came down over the Rock of the Dome? And then you saw it pulse, it flashed, and it went straight up. And I mean, it just went up so fast nobody could keep their eye on it. That was the real deal. That was a real ET.
Yeah, okay. Which was taken by several different viewpoints, by the way. There was a lot of controversy over it.
Right.
So,
well, let me ask you this then. Why do you think, Preston, there is an influx of these drone sightings all of a sudden? 3 years ago, we weren't hearing about these. 8 years ago, we weren't hearing about these. Yes, we heard about the odd one, but they weren't almost a daily occurrence as we are hearing now. Is this actually happening, or do you think that this is all part of some sort of fear-mongering?
Yeah, it's the latter. It's to steer the narrative. Clearly, this has been their technique from day one. Looking at these congressional hearings, it's enough to curl your toes, and it is not easy to watch, especially if you've educated yourself on the subject, because you can see that there's so much more that they're not talking about. To have all this talk about drones is infuriating. It really is. I think it's exactly what you're saying. It's fear-mongering, it's steering the narrative, it's distraction. I think that's largely what it is. And these steps towards disclosure that we have are not steps forward. These are baby steps sideways. And it's getting to the point where this can't go on. Something is gonna break with all of this. I was so mad when Tim Gallaudet, Lou Elizondo, and all the four guys were all lined up, and I said, "What do you think UFOs are?" And they all sat there like 5-year-olds. I don't know. What about you? I don't know. I'm like, if the next person says I don't know, I'm going to throw something at the TV.
Yeah, well, they also said I can't talk about it here. I'll only talk about it in a skiff to the right person.
Yeah, that was another infuriating thing.
Yeah.
I actually liked what Tim Gallaudet said. He said he called for action. I thought he had some nice points to make. But boy, what's his name? Mr. King, I forget his first name, said, we need to look into the possibility that these might be China, UFOs in general. I'm like, oh my God, really? We're going there again.
Well, at least he didn't go swamp gas. I mean, have you ever, you know who he reminded me of? And I'm going to sound real insultive here. If you watch The Simpsons, Chief Wiggum's son, I'm Idaho, and he's a mattress. Okay. I mean, what's the kid's name? Lisa always breaks his heart. Okay, that's who he reminds me of. Ralph Wiggum. That's exactly little Ralph Wiggum. That's what Mike King or whatever his name was is. I mean, when you go into, I'm going to grind my teeth here because I'm going to get mad. Okay, when you go into a hearing where you are supposed to be an expert witness and you go in begging for money for NASA, how educated are you on the process of a hearing in Congress? I was pulling my beautiful hair out. I've got lovely locks. Okay.
I used to.
Well, that's because you got frustrated with all the
Exactly.
Now, I want to make a point about something here, okay? First of all, everybody should know this right off the top. NASA is not a private entity. NASA is a government entity, wholly subsidized and owned by the government. They belong to the government. It is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. That is a federal agency, period. What NASA knows, the government knows. What government knows, the NASA knows. Okay? My father worked for them. I know this for a fact. It's not a joke. I want everybody to stop thinking that they're all about, quote unquote, searching for the truth. NASA is a space agency. They do a job for the federal government. They actually help other governments get to space as well. Okay? All of their observations are given to the government. The government has files and files and cabinets full of everything that NASA sees, hears, and does. So we just need to stop putting them in different cookie jars. They're not. They're the same cookie jar. Okay?
Yep, and they're lying like all the others, too.
Yes,
To say
yes.
that, oh, we need more evidence. Oh, how many satellites are there surrounding our planet? You know, how
I'll tell
sensitive
you.
are they? It's ridiculous for them to say that we don't know what these are. We need more evidence. We're forming a new study group. Stop it. It's disingenuous. It's not
Right.
believable. I
Right.
don't believe them for a second. They know.
They know way more than what we know. The one thing that, as we get into the hearings that passed, getting your opinion, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the hearings, but I was very impressed with the line of questioning. I thought that the Congress people, especially Nancy Mace and Anna Paulina Luna, were firing darts at them, basically saying, give us answers. Anna Paulina Luna, afterwards, I don't know if you caught it, actually said, well, this was a waste of time. When we call witnesses to the stand, we expect answers, and we got nothing.
I want to ask you a question. Does anybody get the fact that they were not sworn into the record, these testimonies? Only one document got sworn into the record at the very beginning. Okay, you have to know how Congress operates to know that this is a dog and pony show, because you can act fiery all day long, but if this is not being put into the congressional record live and it's sworn in and they state that, it's not going into the congressional record. That way the United States can sit back and say, well, we don't know anything. We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Because
there's no
it's not
accountability.
There's no accountability. That's right. Plausible deniability is more their game. One document got put in, and did you read that document?
That was on Immaculate Constellation that
Yeah.
the journalist Matthew, what's his last name, took credit for it. It ended up being an article from Jeremy Corbell.
Yeah.
More games. I did like the question where they asked, about these craft being alive or embodied.
Yes.
This is something contactees have known for a while, and they laid it out there. I'm like, this is the first time I ever heard that in any official capacity. So that was refreshing. I'm like, wow, there you go.
How about everybody saying no, they know nothing of it when Luna asked about hybrids? Reports on the Hill, people talking about hybrids. And Elizondo especially, I was disappointed with him saying, well, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know. Bull crap. You've talked about it.
I'm on the fence about Lou. I'm glad he's coming forward. It's clear he's having a hard time with it. I like that he's angry. He's trying to get the words up. But I feel like a lot of what he's saying is sanctioned and that he's a little bit muzzled too.
Very muzzled.
I can't quite figure out what his direction is.
I got news for you. That boy is only talking because he was told to talk, and he was given the parameters of his talking points, and that's it. And anything outside that, he's not allowed. It's a no-go. You got to remember that once you go into those services as he did, and you act as an agent as he has not only a muzzle, but he's got a leash, and he has people in his life who are prisoner to what that means. Understand? And if he breaks rank, if he gets outside the lines in anything that he's saying and doing, it could be very, very bad. Okay? and I'm talking from knowledge for this in my own family. It is not a pretty picture for the families as well as him. And he's got to be lit. He's got to be just this close to losing his own cookies himself over it. Okay. Because he probably does know they're real. He probably does, but he's only knows what they want him to know. He's all federal employees, all government employees, everybody from the DOD on down. They all live in their little cubicles and they very rarely get past that. Okay. There are very few people who know at the top what the heck's going on. And I guarantee you they are not in the Senate. They are not in the Congress, and they are not sitting behind the desk of the president.
And he's got the #1 best-selling UFO book right now. Imminent.
Well, that's great for him. Good.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, because he's sitting there and they ask him, well, what do you mean by imminent? And he leans back and says, well, you can make up your own mind about it. I'm not so sure he really wants to say some of what he's saying.
Do you want me to say openly what I really think this all is? You want to hear it?
Fire away.
They're about to start World War III. You want to know what the drones are about? That's what it's about. Full on. They have the technology to fool every single human being on this planet about what they're doing, including making everybody think that ETs are coming to kill them. And that is the false flag. And they're getting ready to pull the trigger on all of it. We've got Putin advertising on YouTube. Do you not see that stuff? 24 hours a day, same message rolling over and over and over again. He is absolutely threatening a nuclear attack. If you listen to it, critically listen to what he's saying. Why is he doing that? That is unprecedented in my lifetime. It's probably unprecedented in everybody's lifetime before me. Nobody has ever done anything like that. And yet that's rolling out right now for everybody to see, hear, and feel. And if you don't believe me, go to YouTube and put in Putin's message. It'll pop right up for you. 24/7 looping. He's threatening nuclear attacks. He's blaming us. He's blaming UK for giving Ukraine bombs to hit him with in his own country.
Yeah, when you hear Stephen Bassett talk about disclosure, he links these issues directly together. He's the go-to guy when it comes to this cover-up. And you know that nuclear is a big issue with the ETs. It's one of the #1 messages they've told contactees.
They want us
from
to stop.
day one. Grays, mantids, human-looking, blue beings, tall whites, same message.
Yeah, stop.
What are you doing?
Always stop. Just stop. We're going
to Robert Scout said.
That way.
WTF was how he put it.
No, I fully agree with what you're saying. And as we got about 2.5 minutes to go here before we have to go to break at the top of the hour, I'm very curious about why we're all of a sudden having all of these reports. And, if you look at, and when I piece it together, I think back about 2-3 years ago when former fighter pilot Ryan Graves, I'm thinking the hockey player Adam Graves. Ryan Graves came out basically saying that, he started this non-for-profit flight safety thing over these UAP drones and everything, that we have to make the skies safe. They're not safe for fighter pilots. They're not safe for anything. Ladies and gentlemen, UFOs don't care if it's a military base or a cow farm in the middle of Kentucky.
Right.
They don't care. They're everywhere. And the way they keep pushing this military incursion leads me to believe that this is not alien made. It is something else, Preston.
Yeah, I think so. I did a whole study of trying to find any planes that have collided with the UFO. Mind you, there are millions of flights daily. I found a few. They're questionable, but I do not for a second think that UFOs represent a danger to aircraft. In fact, in Symmetry 2, I just did, a long interview with Dolly about how these craft, the UFOs, can fly around. Dolly was in one. It's gonna be an interesting little chapter. We can give you a preview if Dolly wants to. But yeah,
they have. Okay, I'm gonna let it out. The governments have footage of ETs in 3s and 4s mirroring jet fighter pilots. And if you understand what I mean by mirroring, one above, one below, one in front, and one behind. and whatever speed they're at, we're at. Whatever. In other words, here between my palms is crap. Okay, and we just fly with them. We stay with them. We anticipate everything they're doing. We know what they're doing. They go straight up. We go straight up. They go straight down. We follow them. Okay, we're on them. A few of us have been known pilots to belly up and let them look at us in the window while we're flying. Okay, say, hey, humans like to do it. We do it. Okay,
just like that meme that's on Facebook where the ET waves.
Hey, how you doing? Salute. You know.
Preston and Dolly, I'm going to get you guys to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Preston Bennett, Dolly Safran. When we return on Spaced Out Radio, the world lost a couple of UFO. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, we are clear. I'm going to let you guys chat away. I'm going to just step aside for a minute and be right back, guys.
Okay. I drink my black raspberry ice, y'all. Oh, that was good. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm eager to get the rest of these symmetry interviews done so we can get this book out.
I know.
So keep thinking about that last part because I got all the parts I want. So I'm thinking of putting that story with the animal that sprayed all over you in. That's funny.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, okay. I admit that, but oh my God, I was stupid. It's totally stupid.
Well, you live, you learn, right?
Yes. And I did. What's horrifying to me is I've been skunked as well. I've told you that when I was a kid. I get skunked by a skunk. My poor dad buried me in the yard. He used tomato juice. They used pineapple juice, orange juice, all of it. They didn't care. They were trying to get me cleaned off. Oh, it was horrible.
It's too bad. We just don't have the wildlife we used to have running around anymore. So
no.
I'm very interested to see what our future brings. I know it's probably going to be quite a ride, but still it's interesting. We're here to have fun. I'm going to have fun.
Absolutely. Live and enjoy. Every day is a good day.
It's very sad about the people we're losing in this field, though. Man, oh man. We haven't talked about that, but
lots of people are passing away. It's not just people we know or people who are famous. It's lots of people are passing away. It's getting weird.
Yep. Are we still on the air, you think?
Oh, yeah, I know we're on there. I watch the show at night. I know what's going on.
Okay.
It's like, hey, how you doing?
Who in the field passed? We lost Christopher O'Brien.
Yep.
That was just a couple of days ago. He wrote Mysterious Valley, about UFOs in the San Luis Valley, Colorado. He wrote about cattle mutilations.
Yep.
And I was very interested to hear what his theory was because Dolly has made it clear it's not ETs, which is what Gabe Valdez, one of the leading and really the pioneer of mutilation, said. And Christopher O'Brien felt the same. Nope, not ET. So I thought that was very interesting because he's on the front lines with it. So yeah, he just passed. Very sad. And the other is Emily Trim, who is the primary witness of, about 60 or people who are coming forward. It's more than that, but of the Ariel Elementary School case, the schoolyard UFO encounter in Zimbabwe,
yep.
Which is probably one of the most important encounters in UFO history. And it's what woke me up to the fact that there are schoolyard encounters, that this is a thing.
Yep.
She just passed. She's young. Poor thing. I don't know
She's
how
my
young.
Yeah, she was as young as my daughter, I think.
30s or 40s. I don't
Yeah.
know. If you're in primary school in 1994,
Right.
you can work that out. So
Yep.
I don't know what happened, but she was a light in this field. It took her an enormous amount of courage to talk. You could see it in her face.
Yep.
And she became a contactee afterwards, which goes to show that these are not random incidents.
Nope. Not at all.
So those are the two who passed recently.
Yeah. I want to tell y'all, listen, there's lots of reasons for cattle mutilations, and ETs have nothing to do with it. The government concocts all kinds of weird experiments and things, and they check on the stuff that they do build, like certain types of pesticides or water failures or untimely dumps into systems or whatever. And they watch cattle because cattle is the first line of defense, knowing what's in the meat supply, if it's absorbing all this stuff. And they go in and they mutilate this cattle all the time. They don't care. They'll take anything they want. They can't tell you that's what they want because they get in trouble if they divulge the fact that they're polluting you and the environment while they're doing it.
Yeah,
It's
not to
crazy.
mention all the genetic, experimentation that goes on in
That's true.
places like Area 51,
That's right.
which is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Hi, Thurston Howell III. How's Lovey? Give us an update. All right, big thank you tonight to Deborah Rooney, Sweet Donna C, Richard ×2, Search and Destroy, Mel, la 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 la, right, Richard and Joe. Oh, and by the way, Dolly and Preston, you were asking about our Vegas adventure that Merle and I are going on May 1st to 4th.
Ooh,
May
okay.
1st.
Easy to remember. That's right
Yeah.
close to my birthday.
Welcome to come hang out.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and take a trip out to Rachel. Gotta go to Rachel. Oh, yeah. Oh,
What
yeah.
is
Never
that?
to Rachel. You got to go to Rachel.
What
Here
is
we
that?
go.
Area 51.
Here we go with the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. UFO talk. Preston Bennett, Dolly Saffron continues momentarily. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for joining us. And I hope we're bringing enough weird to you on this show. That is our goal. We want you to be weird, just like us, because you know what? It's fun to be weird. It's great to be weird. It's great to be different. And that's what we supply each and every night. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Gabble. Gabble is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Here's Dolly Saffron. Here's Preston Dennett. We're getting into the UFO world. And Preston, one of the stories that you have written about very thoroughly is the Ariel School incident in Zimbabwe. And today we find out the sad news that one of the most vocal students from that encounter in the mid-1990s, Emily Trim, has passed away. First off, explain to our audience what the whole Zimbabwe encounter was.
Yeah, it's the ultimate schoolyard UFO encounter. There's well over 100 cases. It's probably closer to 1,000 because I'm certainly getting new cases all the time. Just found one in, somewhere in Russia. But they're all over. The Ariel Elementary School in, I think it was November of 1994, had a couple of UFOs show up, land. ETs came out, approached the students, and in fact, some 60 students at least saw this. There was at least 200 on the playground. By a weird coincidence or synchronicity, pretty much all the adults were inside having a meeting. There was one adult on the playground. Kids ran up to her and said, look, over there. She thought they were joking. So these ETs came up and talked to a smaller group of students including Emily Trim, and they told her that we are getting too technological, that there's a good way to use technology and there's a bad way to use technology, and we could do better. They walked up to others and said, stop chopping down the forests. It's going to cause big problems. Others, you need to stop polluting the air. This could lead to widespread death. These are big issues for very young primary age students. So that's the Ariel Elementary School in an encounter in a nutshell, but it's one of many. Emily Trim was the most vocal one to talk about this. You could tell how profoundly it affected her, because tears would come to her eyes as she described this encounter. It affected her for the rest of her life. She became a contactee. So I was very, sad and absolutely just saddened to hear that she's passed on, because she was doing really good work with this. And I know it was hard for her. I know it was. You could see it in her eyes.
And she would have been in her mid to late 30s, if I'm correct.
Right. 1994, that would make her about 10, put her birthday around 84, I guess. Mid 80s. So
she'd be in her 40s, early 40s, 40, 41, 42. Yeah.
Poor thing, man. I'm glad, though, that she had other people with her. It's nice that you can have a group of people. I've talked to a lot of people who are alone when they had their encounter. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. Almost always there is another witness. But thankfully, she had other people with her. I think that helped a lot. But I love those schoolyard encounters. They're very intentional. In each of these cases, they're very low-level sightings. They're almost always long-lasting, always widely viewed. In 1/3 of the cases, these craft land or ETs come out. That's a lot for daytime sightings. This is so clearly intentional. And I think it's part of the ET goal. It's part of their publicity campaign, I think, honestly, is to just say, hi, we're real. I think that's the big part of these schoolyard encounters. In fact, we're going to write about one that Dolly was involved in Symmetry 2, which she's never talked about publicly.
The idea that, she was very vocal and dozens of students had this encounter, but she's the one who really stood up to everything that was public about this case. How big of a loss is this for the UFO community that Emily Trim has passed? Now, we don't know how she passed yet. We're not putting any conspiracy behind this. This is kind of breaking news in the UFO world, and that's how it affects us. But, in regards to everything, is it a massive door that's closed in the communication about this case, Preston?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, she was quite shy. She didn't do a whole lot of interviews, and yet she became very well known. Her sincerity is unquestionable. So, yeah, it's a huge loss.
The possibility of her coming before the people en masse with all the other kids. I mean, they've done a show, but
there was a documentary by Randall Nickerson.
These are experiencers who have multiple corroborating witnesses at one time. These are the first experiencers that need to be allowed to legally come forward and talk about it, not just on a TV show, but legally. There's more than one way to bring truth out about something, and it needs to go on the national record somehow with them, and it's not happened. And the fact that she's gone now, her voice is now nullified. She can't live in person go and do this with the others who are willing to do it as well. And it saddens me to think that they haven't been given that opportunity yet. She
did leave a legacy behind, so kudos to her for having the courage to step forward, because some haven't. A lot of people don't, they can't find that courage. This is something that affects you so profoundly on multiple levels for the rest of your life. It shaped her life.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a huge loss. And I think especially the people who were involved in that incident are really feeling it. But, you can see it's affecting a lot of people.
Yeah. I want to bring something up real quick, talking about disclosure. in
Yeah,
this
please.
in this area. There are police municipalities, okay? There are doctors, there are nurses, there are people, firemen, you name it. These are official people who have high ranking visibility in our communities amongst all the people in the states and worldwide. And yet they don't even come forward and aren't allowed to talk about it either. And if they're in their job, NDAs all the way around. Police departments, they have tons and tons and tons of evidence and witnesses that evidence could be brought forward as well. And yet they're sitting on it, all of them. And I just want us all to just start thinking about what it would take to get them to crack open and talk. How we have the power, the people have the power, supposedly. Why don't we start nailing that open for them, give them a platform to work from to help with this, because it's just not happening.
When I was investigating the UFO wave over Topanga Canyon, the police were heavily involved, and there was a police officer who was ready to speak on camera, and his superiors would not let him. So it is a problem.
Well, we're going to move on to another passing. One of your good friends, and somebody you respected, Preston, Chris O'Brien, known in the UFO world, very scientific, thorough investigator. Probably should have won UFO Researcher of the Year numerous times, but never seemed to get to that point, because I think the last time Tom DeLonge was named UFO Researcher of the Year because his book hadn't even been published yet. So, just your thoughts on losing Chris O'Brien.
Oh, another hugely tragic loss. He was such a nice guy. When I was putting out my first book on UFO healings, he's like, "Hey, I got a case for you." I'm like, "Really?" And he absolutely sent me the information on it, which was a really wonderful thing to do when, there's a lot of sort of not infighting, but infighting, and people are very possessive about their UFO information.
Territorial, even.
Yeah, not sharing it, which I've never been. I mean, I put out all my information. If you want to quote my book, take a chapter, whatever. I'm always very open to it. I do like to be contacted, so I'm not shocked when I see.
He was on the Lightgate 10 months ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, we interviewed him.
Yeah.
A really nice guy. And like you said, Dave, so thorough. There's not a lot of researchers out there that aren't pushing a narrative of some kind. He wasn't. He would be very objective. He didn't jump to the UFO explanation immediately. He was skeptical to a good degree, not closed-minded skeptical, but ferreted out the truth. He was a great guy. He really was, and his books are absolutely required reading. He focused a lot on the San Luis Valley of Colorado. Forget the name of his book. The Mysterious Valley is one of them. Stalking the Herd is another. There's a third one. Man, oh man, they're good books. He covers all of it, not just the UFOs, but the paranormal, all the strange aspects that come along with this.
The woo, yeah.
The woo, yep.
But it just goes to show, I think he was somebody who never made fun of the experiencer.
No,
on the flip side, he was looking for scientific answers to what the impossible questions were. And that is a rarity in this field for anybody on a deep dive quest, Dolly.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
And an experiencer himself. I mean, he actually went out there to look for this stuff, saw it.
I think they'll both be missed. So God bless Emily Trim from the Zimbabwe Ariel School incident, and researcher
for her family. Yeah, that's got to be a big loss. Sorry. Yeah,
absolutely. You know what? Let's cheer it up a little bit. I know we have a few audience questions here for you. We're going to start off with Mike here. Preston or Dolly, do you think the government will put more pressure on secret labs?
Oh, they're in bed together, so I'm not sure why they would. And this is part of the problem with trying to get the truth out, is a lot of who's behind the cover-up is not even government. They are not subject to the Freedom of Information Act. They get to do what they want. They're not elected. This is a real problem when it tries to get to the truth of what's going on, particularly with the crash retrievals and the ET technology. So I'm not sure that our government has any motivation to do that.
That was a mouthful what you just said. I mean, think about it. There are plenty of people, contractors, who work for the government doing what they need them to do simply because they're not FOIAble. No FOIAs on them at all whatsoever. They're hiding information in plain sight, period.
Well, I think if we learned anything from the last hearings, if I can add to this, there was, if anything did come out positively of it, there was a lot of questions about a lot of this information going into the hands of private hands, whether it's Lockheed Martin or Raytheon, British Aerospace, which has bases over here, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas. I think there's a lot of questions about, if we have this technology, why are we hiding it in private hands, or we can't even look at it to know what's going on for the American people?
Yeah. Michael Fred is talking about this. He's got this presentation he puts out called "The Price is Wrong," where he talks about the $1,000 hammer.
Right, yeah.
And we're starting to see some questioning about this. The black budget. There is something that might work. We are absolutely able to hold these people accountable for spending $1,000 on a tech.
Well, that's just what they say it is. Think about it. It's money laundering.
And I don't mean to get political, because I don't like going political on this show. Okay, but do you think the whole new Dodge campaign that is coming out, or Doge, however they're pronouncing that, with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, I know I butchered his name, I apologize. Okay, where they're going to go into government spending accountability, and one of the places that they're aiming at is the Pentagon, who's never hit a budget. They've never broken even on a budget. They're not over by like $8. They're over by trillions of dollars annually, trillions of unaccounted dollars. Do you think that if they go after the Pentagon and those black operation projects and technology projects, that we're actually potentially going to get some answers which could lead to UFO answers, Preston?
I do. I'm a little jaded. I've been in this field for a very long time, so I'm not really that hopeful, but somebody's got to do something. And Elon Musk, as being one of the richest people on this planet, certainly might have some clout in that direction. I don't know that our Pentagon folks are ever going to tell the truth. They're not elected officials. Their history on this subject is heinous. It's abysmal. It's not good. I don't trust them one bit. So I think if we're going to get any truth, they're going to drag their feet, fight and claw the whole way. And how can we trust them? I mean, how can we possibly verify that anything they say is true? Let's track this money. Let's give it a try. It's time. But it's going to be a hard road. That's going to be a tough path to, clear.
How about you, Dolly?
I don't like politics because I think both sides are involved. Okay. I think politics everybody needs to stop thinking that there's one good group and one bad group. I think they're all together in this.
Clearly.
I think that you need to look at the MO of every single person in the government and what it is that they value and what they attain or what they get out of it. Okay. There's no such thing as a true public servant anymore. I don't believe that. All right. I think there's always something going on. That's what I think. I have reasons. Elon Musk runs SpaceX. Elon Musk is a satellite producer. Elon Musk is a rocket producer. Elon Musk is an energy producer. Elon Musk is a vehicle producer. He's got a lot of irons and a lot of fires. And yeah, he's pretty good at what he does. But if you sit down and think about all this, who's he talking to now? And he's going to go do what? I'm not sure. I think that everybody wants this. This is a new pretty mirror they've put up in front of us to make us think that this is going to happen when it may not be in front of our eyes. That's what I think. I think they have an agenda, the whole thing, and they're working it, and us be doggone, you know? So I just reserve judgment on all of them. I watch them like a hawk, you know? You got to, in real time, know what they're all up to. I don't trust anybody off the top of my head. You have to really look at what they're doing, what they're up to, and what their motive is or their agenda. That's what I think.
Yeah, we don't even know who half these people are who work at the Pentagon. I mean, we don't know who they are. They're not elected officials.
Oh, I fully agree with you in regards that there has to be some sort of accountability for it. But I think if they dig deep enough, and this is part of the mystery that I'm interested in, I think if they dig deep enough, they are going to learn that there is a ton of money being put into these research projects from technologies that they have from crash retrievals and potentially aliens as well. And I think they do know the answers. And if they dig deep enough, the question is, you know, when you're new to politics, the one thing you throw around a lot in order to get elected is the word transparency. How transparent are they going to be when all of a sudden the big guns who are playing with the big toys at places like Area 51 and Wright-Patterson and 29 Palms and other places, how accountable are they going to be on their transparency? And that's what I don't see happening.
Yeah. Well, what they need to do is stop giving them money, period, until we know exactly where it's going. It's that simple. Because Congress is supposed to hold the purse strings, but they're printing money right and left. The whole money game
doesn't matter anymore.
Joe. Yeah. I mean,
the greatest, most important issue in the history of humankind is an entire planet has just been made aware that we are not alone. That is serious stuff. Okay. And why? Why are they just now bringing it up when we know from history, from everything that's gone before us, we got plenty of evidence everywhere in the ancient records, in the pyramids that are left, everything all over the earth. Scientists already know the answer to that. They already know they're there. They already know that they've been working with humankind off and on forever. Okay. They know that they're not here to hurt us. But for some stupid reason, these morons are trying to make you think they are. And I think you really need to sit down and think this one through. Why? What's happening? Critically, what's happening? Why all of a sudden are they lying to us about everything they can? Why all of a sudden are people not being educated the way they should be? You know, I'm sorry, this has been going on for 80 years. Okay. And we have an entire population of people who you couldn't have a scientific conversation with them about anything because they don't know. Okay. Why all of a sudden in the history of the world are so many factions against one another amongst the people themselves? Okay. Everybody's hating everybody. Everybody's calling everybody names. Everybody's getting ready to attack everybody else. Why are they pushing for this? And they are openly pushing for it. You can see it every day. Their rhetoric pushes humanity to go straight into anarchy, and we're there. And things are happening all around us. And you got to ask yourself, what are those conclusions? What's happening? Well, if you have a scientific background, you might have a conclusion. You know, this is one that I've brought forth. Our planet, our solar system is about to experience some really serious burping. Okay. And it's going to cause problems for us. And it's coming mainly from our sun. The reason they don't want you to know about it, ask yourself, why have they built so many underground facilities? Why have they got seed vaults all over the place? Why?
People are waking up to this. I see that, you know, on social media. People
They're
are
planning on surviving something, and we're in the doggone way. Just so you know, 8.4 billion people on this planet are a problem if the you know what hits the fan. Okay, and I'm talking like a big CME that knocks down our grids and everything. They won't survive either because we'll come after them because we know they have hideouts. We'll find them. Most of us know where they are. It is astonishing to me that people don't add all this stuff up in their head. They're too busy thinking about politics and who's wrong and who's right.
And this is our best hope: knowledge, truth.
Yeah.
raising ourselves out of denial. This is actually our best weapon against all of this. It's just plain simple education. Learn the truth.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to get ready to go to break here on Spaced Out Radio. We have another half hour left with Preston Dennett, Dolly Saffron. Audience questions continue when we return. Stay tuned, everybody.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
All right, we are clear.
Okay. Hi, Nicole.
Nicole Sackage.
Call.
She just got
Seriously,
home.
call us.
She just got home. She was at Seoul.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Does she come to your thing when like this May? Is she going to be there?
She's invited. I'm hoping she shows up.
Okay. I would
It all
love
depends if she has to flat iron her hair that weekend or not.
Oh. Make sure I still have hair.
I
Oh,
can say
my
this. Nicole Sackage and I have been best friends for a long time. And she is one of my most trusted friends in this industry. And I got to meet her a couple of years ago when she came to our Vegas event. And she is even more wild, more happy, more awesome in person than I could have ever imagined. And I don't care if she's listening to this bullshit that I'm spewing right now. No, she is absolutely amazing. And you know, the cool part about it is, as big of a fan as I am of hers, I know it's reciprocated back and it's honest back, you know, and that's what I love about her.
Yep.
She's
Lots
a
of
wonderful
beautiful
human
people
being.
in this field. She's one of them. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I was most impressed with her when I first met her. I met her at MegaCon in 2021.
Yeah.
That was the first time I came out anywhere. Was with Preston. I was selling books for him. We hadn't told my story yet or anything, but I wanted to go, so I went and I sat in his little book space and sold books for him, and then went to all the different people talking and stuff. And Nicole's was astounding, actually. I enjoyed it very much, and I'm very impressed. And that's hard to do to me, just saying. And she's awesome. I like Nicole a lot. She
Yeah.
gets around. She's very busy, and that's important, you know?
She's amazing. She really is. You know, if I were to shut down Spaced Out Radio tomorrow, and if I were to look back on everything there, you know, she would be, her and Grant Cameron would be at the top of my list for, you know, the people who I just love and adore. And,
yeah,
you know, that would be, you know, outside of like, you know, there's so many great people that I've met, people who've been on the SOR team, you guys, and Lorian Fenton, Melinda Leslie, you know, Steve Bassett, and many others who have really blessed me with not only interviews, but friendship as well. You know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
It's a really wonderful community to be part of.
Absolutely.
Kind of, you know, very.
And you know, Nicole says it best. We were talking about this about a week and a couple weeks ago. There's a real difference between ufology and the 2017 U-apology.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the people of ufology really seem to get along. They may not have agreed, but they got along, and there was respect there. And yeah, there was, you know, issues at times, but U-apology has really brought out a not so kind way of looking at this topic.
It was very interesting to see a whole wave of newcomers coming in and rising right up to the top of the media. I'm like, huh, I don't even know half these people. You learn who they are pretty quick. But man, oh man, I miss the old style investigators like, Leo Sprinkle, Donald Kehoe, of course. He's a huge hero. Jim and Carl Lorenzen, I adore them. I never met them. Left this field right as I was entering.
Just be careful.
But man, oh man, there's a whole army of people who've really done amazing work to get us to where we are today.
I will say this, if there has been a benefit of the UFologists, it's been their absolutely beautiful attack on this subject on social media, really using social media to the advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree about that part. Yeah.
We've got just over 30 seconds here. Big thank you to Susan, Deborah Rooney, Sweet Donna C, Richard ×2, Cosmic Joe, Lala, Mel WD40, and Search and Destroy for the great super chats. Very much appreciate it. Hi, Deanna Ann. How are you? Good to see you. Scott B, nice to have you back. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out and get some good stuff today. You can wear it in public. All right. Here we go. Go with the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in wherever you are. As we're going to get to Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron here momentarily. But first, we want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives. Always on YouTube, always on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here's Dolly Saffron. Here's Preston Dennett. And here is their next question from our audience as we continue on with audience question. Let's go to Lone Wanderer. Really jealous of your bookshelf, Preston. Do you have any UFO or paranormal book recommendations?
Well, other than mine, I would say, I love Timothy Good's books. There's a new book by Linda Zimmerman, first to write about animal reaction cases, first book on that. I love, as far as paranormal books, I love anything by Raymond Moody, the near-death books. You've got to check those out. Hans Holzer, he's the ghost guy. I've got probably most of his books.
Grant Cameron did Sky Pilots. I like that book.
Yeah, that's another really good book. Gosh, what is that book? The Buff Ledge Abduction by Walter Webb. That's a sleeper of a book. So good. Frank Ficino, he wrote a couple of books. Shoot Them Down was one, and the something monster. It's about the case in West Virginia. Braxton County Monster.
Yeah.
Excellent book. I would definitely recommend that one. I love all my books, though. I've read every one of those more than once. I'm not kidding.
Not all of them, by the way. That shelving goes way around the other side of the house. Yeah.
Read as much as you can. Absolutely, because all these subjects are connected. If I were going to recommend one of my books, other than Symmetry, it would probably be Onboard UFO Encounters or Human Levitation. Check that one out. It will open up your eyes to what we as humans can do.
All right, let's move on to another question from, let's see here. Where are we going next? Terrence. What 2 questions would you ask to get us the truth?
Of who specifically? Government? Who?
Yeah,
Who?
government.
Okay, the government. Preston says it all the time, and I kind of agree. I want to see the bodies, and I want to see the craft. If we can crack them to give that information, that they're going to start talking. That's what I want. How do we get them to start talking? Other than that, you would have to be a magician, the best con on the planet, or got something they want. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the end game for disclosure. We might have a sitting head of state say UFOs are real. That's not going to get us where we need to be. And if they start showing us more blurry films or a piece of metal, I'm going to lose my mind. So yeah, I love that. I would like to ask every person in Congress, have you seen a UFO? And put your name to it. Because they said that during the hearings. Oh, some of us have actually had experiences, and I'm not going to name names. I'm like, hold on a second. You're asking for truth and transparency, and you're not giving it. Put your money where your mouth is. I would like to ask every single one of them if they've had an experience. Because then we could start pushing this forward and letting people talk about it in a way that it's okay. All these Congress people have been on board. It's so much more common than people realize. I would love to get that out there.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Very interesting to see how that plays out. I think it's heavy on that questioning because we really do need to ask tough questions. Number one, I would ask, why now? We've been silent for 70 years up until 7 years ago when the New York Times article came out. Why now? There was no reason for any of this unless there was either A, false flag event coming, or B, we got a message saying they're on their way and they will be here at such and such a time in such and such a year. That's, to me, the only two logical answers for that. The second question I think I would ask would be to the government officials or the Pentagon, if they could answer truthfully, where are the bodies? That's what I want to know. Where are the bodies? And craft, obviously, all in one question.
I kind of already know the answer too, so just tell us. I mean, we know.
So that's where I would go. Let's go to Paramarv. I was recently speaking with someone who didn't believe that humans could fly the alien craft, but I seem to recall Dolly has. Can you describe it, please, Dolly? Is it difficult to fly?
It took me 4 years to learn to fly. I was in full training with them. You have to be wide open psychic. We do not fly with guides or wheels or anything like that. It's completely psychic. The craft itself is an entity indwelling the craft. It is a biological craft to support the entity indwelling it. And we do not fly in conventional space. We fly outside space-time. In other words, we go outside this dimension to fly. It's like Einstein explaining how you fold space. Well, if I can open this dimension up and go into over here, I can fold the space between this dimension and that dimension and cross that space in the flick of a second. We use the frequency of where we're going. People talk about monoliths. Well, they're kind of real. They're markers. They leave them everywhere, and each monolith has a frequency that we can pick up psychically. And it's like me making a chart of where I'm going. Filing a flight plan. Well, it's already in my head, and I already know what that frequency is, and I go there. I can't fly without knowing where I'm going, though. So the entire time I'm learning to fly, they would take me so that I knew it already. In other words, I don't forget where I've ever been or how I got there. And it's one of the traits that you need to have to fly for them. And so they took me to each point in everywhere that I go. If there's a new place for me to go, I always have another pilot with me taking me there for that first time as well. We help each other that way. It is mostly an event where we use two types of energy. We use a type of nuclear energy. We do burn element 115. It is a highly stable element, and it uses all of its fuel. It doesn't have anything left over. There's no bankable radiation left over. It has no half-life. It's gone once we use it. It transforms into another element. That's when we're powering up to go outside the atmosphere and light gate to wherever we're going. We stay out of conventional space as much as possible because gamma radiation is deadly to everybody, even ET. When we're in atmosphere, when we're inside a magnetosphere in a planet, we go to batteries. They have huge batteries that contain enough energy, electromagnetic, radioactive energy to use our emitters. It is energy that is like a Tesla coil. Actually, in the batteries use it as well. And once we get out of atmosphere, though, we power up and we go back to the nuclear part of it. We have the ability we're surrounded in two different fields. We have an inner field, which encases the entire craft itself in the inside environment. And then there's a field that surrounds that field on the outside. And that protects us from space objects coming in through and hitting us. We're impenetrable. That field is so protective that, like astronauts going through space in the ISS, they can be punctured by debris and stuff. Well, debris is everywhere in the universe, everywhere. And we have to have that outer field to protect us from being demolished because it could go through us as well. What else do you want to know?
I interviewed one guy who was describing some of this, not in the detail you are, but he said it was very difficult. He felt it was like he was being placed inside this brain almost with all these structures.
Yeah.
I like what you talk about, how to a certain extent you almost lose your identity.
You do. You become one with
the craft.
Yeah. You remember the purse that you see all over hieroglyphs and different cultures? They got the purse, the guy with the purse, and everybody wants to know what the purse is, and it's always the same purse. Might be different fabrics or whatever, but it's a purse. And they're usually wearing some kind of weird watch with a flower on it or a band with a flower on it. That is inside that purse is a little teeny, it's a type of metal like a dodecahedron. It expands and it becomes about as big as a basketball. And it's an electromagnetic field contained where I can transfer my consciousness. I can remote my consciousness into that thing, and the craft is already there waiting for me. He's already come into it. I can't fly using my own eyesight. I can't fly using my own hearing. I can't, because I'm in an environment where I'm protected by these two huge environments. The craft is indwelt by a fifth dimensional being who does not need a corporeal body to exist. And he sees everything without anything to help him. It's all psychic. And so he becomes my eyes, he becomes my ears, he becomes my ability to make the ship do what I want it to do, as well as the ship helping me to do that. I feel it breathing. I hear all the noise around me. I see with his eyes. My co-pilot, or the craft itself, my contact, is a male entity, and his name is Talata. It is incredible when we join in that atmosphere. I don't have to wear the watch. I have an implant in my hand. It's right here, right where the tip of my finger is. It's right there. And it's an electromagnetic switch. And when I take my ball out of my purse and I hold my hand, the connection between the two parts of this whole, it's light energy. It energizes it to start expanding. And from my hand, it rises up. It becomes weightless. And then above my head in the seat that I'm sitting in is a connector, and it kind of holds it in stasis for me. So I don't have to hold it up all the time, but I remote my consciousness into that. And it's totally
I don't
light.
think people have any idea how truly advanced these craft are. People go on board and chairs will rise up out of the floor.
Yeah.
They can create mirrors. They can create whatever they want.
Yeah. Nicole Sackage story interested me because she got to hold the wand. Okay. She got taken on board to see if she could fly. They were testing her out for this. Okay. When she was younger, way younger. And I don't know her complete story, but I know that she's probably piloted these craft and she had the wand. Before you can learn to use your own psychic abilities for this, you have a wand that you can hold in your hand, and it connects your mind to the craft's mind. It's like a tool for that. And when she told her story when I was there at MegaCon, I freaked out. I was like, oh, She's done it. That's real. This is a real deal. Okay. And when I first went on board and they were trying to see if I wanted to do this, I held the wand as well. And I was able to connect with Todd at that time. But then I since learned to do it psychically, fully psychically. It's complicated. It took me a long time to learn how to do this. And you have to be really, really willing to do it because you put yourself in danger. I'm in an electromagnetic environment. Like my hair is thinning really, really bad. It always has been. It's falling out all the time. I take special vitamins to keep it on my head. I have no hair nowhere on my body otherwise. It's like an electrolysis on board. If you want to know why the Greys have no hair, there's your answer. They're in an electromagnetic environment in these things, and it electrolyzes their whole body. I've seen tall Greys with hair, honest to God, on planet where they live, but the ones that work with the craft, no hair, it's gone. Bye. So yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Let's move on to another question here because we got a bunch of them and only 9 minutes to go. Let's go to Super Crazy. Do you think there are any technologically advanced ET species that want to destroy humanity, or are they all peaceful?
None. Zero. Let me explain to you why. They're not hundreds of thousands of years or thousands of years or even million years in advance of us. They're billions of years. They are that advanced. Nobody that advanced has the capacity to hate, to do evil, to do terrible things, to rip things off from you or take things from you. A lot of people are egotistically thinking that our planet is full of resources. Well, it is, but how many other planets do you think are in the universe that are in that same condition, that they live on, work around, and are on? They don't need our resources. They don't need anything that we have. What they do know about us is that we're their children. They are our progenitors. We came here from them. We're here to learn something. And that's why they're interested in us. And they have no reason whatsoever to harm us in any way at all. As a matter of fact, and they know we're autonomous, they're autonomous. They have the right to say how they exist. We have the right to say how we exist. We're supposed to be catching up with them and getting up to a level where we can communicate with them. Our physical bodies have to allow us to do that, or we have the equipment and we're just not doing it. And that's a big deal. There are other planets in the universe like us, but they're just like us. They can't get off their planets either. They're not evolved or elevated enough to make it. Think about the technology that they use. It's all psychic. They wield light energy like you would assume God can. Okay, that's serious stuff, and we're not smart enough for that yet. Not at all. Okay.
Yeah, one thing I would just underline is that ETs are telepathic. So what one does, they all know. Dolly's up there with them, so she's connected to all of that. So if there was someone going out there wreaking havoc, they would all know, and it would not be
a good thing. No, it would be put in check.
There's a real problem here on this planet. How this subject is not only being perceived, but how it's being spun with the whole MyLabs and this ET threat narrative being put forth. Because there are people who are having horrible negative encounters. That is not, just them afraid of something that's not going to hurt them. There are people who are being hurt. I don't think it's ET.
Let's go to Paul here. Why don't the aliens just make themselves known to the entire Earth instead of visiting a school?
They have over and over and over again into perpetuity, all the way back for millennia. They have. There are whole civilizations that had absolute contact with them. They were ready for it. We are not.
Didn't go that well.
You can't. Think of it this way. If you can't understand what they're saying to you, why would they put you in a position to even try? Okay. That's the first thing you need to think about. We're not using our abilities. Somebody on this planet decided to double down on us and make it so that we couldn't. Your poor pineal gland's gummed up with all kinds of things. Fluoride at the top of the list. It calcifies your pineal gland. It's part of your endocrine system. It registers light and dark. It's part of your circadian rhythms. And if it's gummed up and messed up, it can't transmit or receive signal, which it's capable of doing. It's able to transmit your brain's brain waves, alpha, beta, theta, gamma, delta. We transmit in those. So when you're psychic, that's what you're hearing and seeing in your psychic ability. And physical body needs a way to transmit that out, and that's your pineal gland. We need to clean up the water. We need to clean up the air. We need to clean our bodies up. We need to stop eating fluoride, drinking fluoride, washing in fluoride. It hurt you. We need to wake up. If
There's
you
a lot of
wake-
things we need to do.
yeah, we're too busy yelling and screaming at each other. We couldn't have a conversation with them if we tried. And
Yeah.
don't expect them to fix everything, because we caused our own problems, not them, us. And we're supposed to elevate ourselves and get out of this on our own.
Yeah, because contactees have asked them this directly. Why don't you just come down and, announce yourselves? And the answer that a lot of them receive is, we're really not ready. The last thing they want to do is cause a huge upset. And they do reveal themselves to the extent that they can. And they've done it. There's 1 million encounters on record. They went over Mexico City in 1991 and stayed there for, I think it was 2 hours. They overflew the capital. Look at the French wave of 1954. Look at what happened in the beginning of November of 1957, right after we launched Sputnik. Investigate those 2 weeks. It will blow your mind. Look at the 1973, the year of the humanoids. Absolutely, they have made really big steps towards disclosure, to the extent that they can do it without causing complete havoc.
Yeah.
They've said over and over again, it's our own warlike ways. It's our greed and corruption. It's the way we treat each other. It's our prejudices that has remained the biggest obstacle towards open official contact. We need to start electing leaders that will tell the truth. We need to stop hurting each other. There's all these things we need to do if we really want to have open official contact and a relationship that's interactive with them.
All right, let's get to this final question. There's 3.5 minutes. What is a UFO and what is a UAP specifically? Preston, we'll start with you.
I'm not a fan of the terminology in this field. I'm not even a huge fan of the term UFO. To me, UFO means extraterrestrial craft. It's come to mean that. Words change. It started out as something, well, we don't know what it is. It's unidentified. It's identified. When someone says, I saw a UFO, in my mind, generally speaking, they're saying they saw an extraterrestrial craft. The term UAP is a way to spin that out and to try to just continue to distract. There's a lot of talk about, maybe UAPs are reverse engineered craft. Well, let's call them that. I'm not a fan. I don't like the terminology in this field whatsoever. And I think it's deliberate. So, yeah, to me, a UFO is an extraterrestrial craft. And a UAP is just a way to spin that away from people to follow the facts of what's going on here.
I think UAP was created by the governments. It's a control over the narrative of the subject, UAP. UFO, like Preston said, it's an intelligently designed craft with ET aboard, extraterrestrial intelligent life coming out to visit us. And that's the difference.
Can we sneak in one more here?
Sure.
All right, let's sneak in one more. Let's go to Luna. Do you believe Neuralink and creation of AI was gifted by alien intelligence? Do you believe that some technology creations in our present day are not man-made with our abled minds?
Okay, I'm going to go. All right. First, point blank.
Put on your seatbelt, folks.
AI. ET has a form of AI. It is the small AI grace. There are billions of them. They are not autonomous as you would think. They can be turned off like that. They only work when they're turned on, and they know what their job is, and that is to facilitate and help ET in anything that they ask them to do. They do not harm anybody, they do not harm themselves, and they do not harm ETs. They have a built-in autonomous system of psychic ability that is a type of technology that they back engineered from downed craft and capturing them. Doesn't matter whether they're alive or dead, they can still see how they're engineered, and they back engineered it. They bloody well know you can't fly a craft without being psychic. They also know those craft are indwelled, and they've had a bloody heck of a time getting anybody on board to fly one because it won't let them. I wish they'd asked me. I'd rescue every bloody crap they got that's still viable. I'd get them the heck out of here. Okay, they don't deserve to have them. They're doing Neuralink because we've lost the ability to be wide open psychic. So they're trying to do for us what ET does with their AI grays, the small ones, and make us psychic so they can fly the bloody craft. That's why.
I don't think it's a gift from ET, though.
Not a gift.
Well, on that note, we got to say goodnight to both of you. Thank you very much, Dolly and Preston. Big happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, and stay safe during the holidays. Don't forget to brawl on Black Friday, if you don't mind. Spaced Out Radio continues with Hour 3 next.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott.
That's what it said.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for a great show.
We had a
Much
good
love to
time.
both of you.
Yep.
And
You're
you
coming back on with us soon, I hope. We'll have to work that out.
work it out. You know I'll be there for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna go get some rest.
You do that.
Yeah. Okay. Night, everybody. Night, night.
All right. Oh, there
Good night.
comes the rain. Wow.
All right. See you later. All right. Be right back, guys. Gonna go check on the snow outside. is deer hitting season, that's for sure. All right, we're coming back. It's Merle time. Where's Merle? Merly bird gets the worm. That's what we need to look at here a little bit. Angry Canadian. Who isn't an angry Canadian these days? Why are you angry Canadian? Angry Canadian. That must be an Albertan. Deborah Rooney, thank you again. That's all right, Deb. I read it all. I love you. Bombshell Bomber, how are you? My abduction right now is awesome, Christine. It's still lightly snowing here. Lightly. Thank you to Deb ×2, Richard ×2, Sweet Donna C, Susan, and Search and Destroy, Mel WD40, Lala, and Cosmic Joe for the great super chats. Hi, Pam Harris. How are you? And looking good there. All right. Don't forget you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. Shop now and get your swag for Christmas. Unless you have a mail strike like we do in Canada. Here we go. Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Gabble. Gabble is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. And since I actually recorded Swamp Dweller tonight, let's head to the swamp.
Hello and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Swamp. I'm Swamp Dweller, and tonight I'm going to take you on a mystic journey of the unknown, sharing tales of monsters, legends, and nightmares. Welcome to the Spaced Out Radio Swamp.
Before I start, I should mention that I am half white, half Mexican male, and this story happened to me when I was 17 years old. My family went to California for a summer vacation, and to see the family we have out there. That year, we decided to go camping in a certain park in Northern California for a few days, and being a Phoenix native, it was a much-needed break from the 120-degree heat. All was good for the first few days, until the second to last night there. A group of 5 to 6 of us were sitting by the campfire at 1 in the morning, when we noticed the forest goes dead silent around us. As we all look around at each other, questioningly, we hear the pained, blood-curdling scream of a woman saying, No, ring from the trees to the left of our camp. Not knowing what was wrong or what was going on, we kept our ears open and stayed on guard. A few moments later, we hear the same noise again, but somehow different. More inhuman this time. Like a voice being played off of a speaker. We instantly recognized it as the voice of the woman from before. Horrified, we quietly all went to our tents to hide. Eventually, we all fell into a very uneasy sleep. I jolted awake at 3 in the morning, desperately needing to pee. Thankfully, we were across from the outhouses, so after a quick sprint over into the outhouses and relieving myself, I hear what sounded like scratching on a tin metal roof. I immediately froze, remembering the inhuman howl from earlier that night, hoping they weren't related. Armed with only my phone, I watched the next half an hour tick down, either waiting for the sun to rise or for the sound of the scraping to stop. Suddenly, The light in the bathroom cut out. The timer for the lights had gone out, leaving me in the dark. With the faintest bit of light threatening to peek its head over from the horizon, I decided to make my break back to the tent. I made it across the dirt road to the camp when I heard it again. That woman's shriek, but not loud. It had the same intensity and inhuman artificialness, but it was like barely a whisper. Foolishly, I turned around and perched on the metal roof. I saw was a 7-foot, pale gray creature with 3-inch claws on all fours and deep sunken eyes staring at me a mere 25 feet away. Its flesh was tightly stretched across its bones. It was completely hairless and lacked any form of genitalia. I was frozen solid as we looked at each other until it took to its right and saw the light creeping up. It stared at me and let out one more agonizing cry that had me haunted till this very day. It sent one last soul-stabbing stare before it vanished into the early morning. As I lay back into my tent silently sobbing and trying to fall back asleep, I hear the faint echo of the thing's cry. Needless to say, I didn't sleep at all that night and refused to set foot in those woods again. As we left the campsite that day, we saw a homeless-looking woman standing at the side of the road going down the mountain. I didn't make eye contact, but I knew she was staring at me. Once we passed, I casually looked over my shoulder to see if she was there, and she wasn't. But there was an owl who flew close to the ground to where she was.
All right. Thank you, Swamp Dweller, for another creepy, spooky story. If you want more, just type in Swamp Dweller on YouTube, hit subscribe, ring that bell, because we love it when he brings a scary story each and every night here to kick off hour 3. With that, let's head to the UFO report.
That is an interplanetary flying space saucer. You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
All right, let us say hello to little Timmy James here on Spaced Out Radio for the UFO report. Tim, how you doing, my friend?
I am doing good, Dave, and you, sir.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. The
Excellent.
snow is falling here in British Columbia.
Just a little bit.
I want it to dump, man.
It will.
After Saturday,
Yes.
after Saturday, I want it to dump.
There's going to be like hamsters in a shoebox out there on Saturday.
All right. This is my Canadian message for our American friends. It is Thanksgiving holiday,
Correct.
and we want to remind everybody that the world is watching.
Mm-hmm.
The world is watching. What are we watching? For 4 years, we've been ripped off on social media
I know where you're going.
regarding Black Friday videos.
Mm-hmm.
Gone are the days of mass brawling, shoving of children, pushing over of the elderly, all right, ransacking Walmarts and Targets, people putting foil on their knuckles in case they get into a good shoving match.
Yep.
Part of bringing society back to normal, okay, is we have to get the brawls back.
Uh-huh.
We need the brawling people. So if you're thinking of saying, I'll just do my online shopping, it's easier. No, that's not acceptable to the rest of us in the world.
No.
Okay. This is my PSA announcement. Let's get back to it, America. You're the leaders of the free world for a reason. And that includes beating the tar out of each other on Black Fridays.
It's almost as good for us, like watching up in Canada, watching all this stuff happen. It's almost as good as Super Bowl commercials.
Yes.
It really is. It's like, I can't believe that just happened. And it's all water cooler talk up here. It's the lunchroom talk. And it's, hey, have you seen this? It's awesome. And we miss it.
Disappointment. Listener Paul Scott here says, I just ordered Walmart Black Friday deals online. See, that's what we don't need.
No,
that is disappointing right there. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Disappointing. People claim that hockey is violent, and us as Canadians, that, we love our violence, and especially controlled violence, like
Yes.
a good hockey fight. I mean, who hasn't broken their nose? That way.
Right? Once.
5 times for me. But all I'm saying is, look at this negativity from Human Carl here.
Oh, Carl.
Those days are over, Captain, forever. See, we can't talk like that. We can't talk like I am very, very positive person.
You are.
I believe in America. As somebody from north of the border, north of the 49th parallel, I believe that America can get back to where we are. Okay?
Yes.
And that starts with giving thanks over turkey with family and friends.
Yep.
And then at the stroke of midnight, let's get duking it out. All right?
That's it.
Put those spikes back on your work boots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When you're heading to the Walmart for that new television.
That's it.
All right? If there's a PS5, grab 5 of them.
Yeah.
Okay? Grab 5 of them and you fight to get out of that store. It doesn't matter if you don't pay for them.
Nope.
Just fight to get out of the store. All right?
Oh,
Come on. We can do this.
we want videos.
We want videos. We want to make sure that everybody is doing this properly. And it starts with important PSA messages like this one.
That's right.
The world is counting on you. You've disappointed for the last few years, America. Okay? If we want to get back to societal norms,
That's it.
it starts with Black Friday.
Yeah, COVID's over. You got nothing to worry about. Just give her.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome.
Oh, I feel better.
I know. I'll feel better when I see some of those videos, though.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. At Spaced Out Radio on X. So make sure you tag us in each and every one.
That's it.
Okay. And the other issue here, one more PSA.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's not film with our phones straight up. Let's go and film horizontally. We get a better view.
Yep.
Okay. And if there is some really good punches being thrown, take your fingers, zoom in. Zoom in. It's all you need to do.
All you got to do is ask one of you, a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, how to do that properly. You
Absolutely.
got it.
We can do this. We can do this together.
We have faith.
We're counting on you, our beautiful friends to the south. We are totally counting on you. You know how many complaints I'm going to get over this right now?
And you know what? I don't think you care.
No.
I didn't think you would.
No. And just for reminder here, okay? Just for reminder.
Mm-hmm.
It's all said in jest and fun.
Yeah.
All right. It's all said in jest and fun because there is going to be that one person who listens who's going to be offended. Okay. What's this Spaced Out Radio inciting violence here?
I know,
all right.
Right.
You know, what are they doing?
Hello?
Yeah. The men in black are going to show up at the studio here.
Oh my
and they're
gosh.
going to be saying, what are you doing inciting violence on Black Friday?
Oh,
God, I hope it's good.
so do I.
I hope it's real good. All right.
Oh.
I need this, man.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I need this in a sick, twisted way. I need this. What do you got for the UFO report?
Oh, do we want to talk about the drones anymore today? Or
You know what? We need to because there
Yes.
was a big one in the UK.
yeah, and there obviously was, and there was also obviously today. They were coming back. They've even seen them over in North Carolina in the last couple of days too. So there seems to be a Dave Scott copyright plethora of sightings of these all over the place. So same rhetoric from all the people in the know, so to speak. But what I found today was that a piece from actually the my goodness, I'm sorry, Royal Air Force. So the government has warned that those behind recent drone incursions over the U.S. air bases will be shown the full force of the law. Defense Minister Maria Eagle said it was taking steps after the mystery unmanned aerial vehicles were spotted over and around the 3 locations in Suffolk and Norfolk. 60 Royal Air Force personnel have been deployed to assist the U.S. Air Force in its investigation. It has also emerged a 4th U.S. air base has been targeted. Protection of our personnel and bases is, of course, our highest priority, said Eagle, speaking during a debate on UK air and missile defenses at Westminster Hall. For security reasons, I won't go into specifics, but we are taking steps and we are aware of what's going on and doing our best to deal with it. Defense Minister Maria Eagle said protection of our personnel and bases is, of course, our highest priority. There have been multiple sightings of UAVs over Lakenheath, Mildenhall, Suffolk, and between Saturday and Monday, and over Royal Air Force Base Feltwell in neighboring Norfolk. Fairford in Gloucestershire.
Gloucester.
Yeah, there's a lot more of them. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Had also experienced drone incursions, a spokesperson added. 4 B-52 Stratofortress bombers landed at Royal Air Force Base Fairford earlier this month. MPs were told the Civil Aviation Authority had flight restriction zones imposed around these bases. We will be making sure that anybody we manage to catch for engaging in this behavior will be shown full force of the law for their legal activities, Miss Eagle continued. So basically, yeah, they're laying down the law. But what I found really interesting too, and Rob and I were talking about it on Monday, is that the people that were filming around the outside of the base and in private areas were being approached and told that they weren't allowed to film. And there was actually some people that were live streaming that have live streamed, and their YouTube channels and their channels have been taken down. All right. So I'm kind of in agreement with you. I don't necessarily think that it is extraterrestrial, but there is tons of it happening all over the place. And I think it's just starting to warm things up a bit. And also my other opinion is that by the powers that be saying that they are drones or telling us they are drones, I think they've kind of backed themselves into a corner, because if they're so sure of it, then my question is, then why not just say that that's what they are instead of keeping everything hush hush? And is that their plan? Is it a distraction plan? I don't know, but just very, very strange all of a sudden that all these things are being cited all over the place. And now again, in the States, again, over North Carolina.
The ones that were just in the UK that were filmed at the airport, it literally shows an orb ball come down right to the runway. Yep. And it's hovering. There's a great picture of it hovering above the runway.
Yes.
And these photos were actually taken by a pilot.
Yeah, out of the cockpit of his plane, right?
Out of the cockpit of his plane. And then he actually got a video of it sitting in the sky above it. Now, it looks like an orb. It looks like, I don't know how big it would be, maybe a 3-foot round ball.
Yeah, I saw the photo too. It does look, probably about the size of a small beach ball, or it was quite interesting too. I noticed that, and I was like, fake, real, enhanced. I'd have no idea, but very different.
It does bring up the point, and this discussion has to be made. Why all of a sudden are we seeing all of this? We weren't seeing this amount of videos 2-3 years ago, even a year ago, or earlier this year.
No, you're correct.
Okay. And now it's all over the place. So the question is, why? Why is that happening? Why do we see this influx all of a sudden? Now, if I think logically, and not ufology, okay, I tend to think that since the war in Russia and Ukraine, we've seen an influx of successful drone warfare that had never been seen before.
True.
Even in Syria and Afghanistan and Iraq, the last number of years, we didn't see any footage of these human mini drones successfully dropping armament on equipment, whether it was Ukraine versus Russia or Russia versus Ukraine, because they're both doing it to each other.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we didn't see that. It's really changed warfare. And now my theory on it is this: we are not seeing UFOs.
No.
We are seeing drones to see how they are able to penetrate these areas. I think if I were to put my smarts on, knowing the military industrial complex as minimally as I do,
Right.
I think the logic of it is they are testing to see how quickly they can get in and how far they can get into these bases, whether it's Army, whether it's Navy, Air Force, or Marines. That's what I think is happening.
So you're thinking that it's actually them testing their own equipment and seeing how it works on with their systems?
I would say that's part of it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Now
would say
getcha.
that's part of it.
Yeah, because that would make sense to me, what you just said, because look, I just relate back to being a kid and hide and seek. I didn't hide behind a tree with a flashlight, right? I didn't. So to me, if these were drones from another country, Russia, whatever, why would they have these big, huge flashing lights on them? Like, hi, I'm here, right? So no, that makes sense.
And if you're, say, a drone from a other military organization or a terrorist organization,
Sure.
you're going to cover up the lights.
Exactly.
You don't see Russia or Ukraine flying their drones at night with little blinker lights on.
No,
That makes an easy target.
of course.
Okay, so why would they do that?
Yeah. No.
And I think it's a test.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's UFOs. Okay, I can't prove that.
No.
But I'm not saying that it's not happening with UFOs.
Right.
All I'm saying right now is my opinion is we are seeing some sort of military test because this is the way they cover it up now through UAP/UFO.
Right. Good theory. Yeah.
Now, I could be completely wrong.
Makes sense.
Don't think that I am.
No.
Okay. I will be checking with sources on that, and it just, I think it's their way of killing the subject.
Okay.
Okay. They don't want to talk UFOs. They don't want to talk UFOs. Sweet Robbie G in our chat room tonight says they are purposely flying normal drones over military installations to obfuscate the real anomalous encounters. Sad. I think that hits the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Him and I are on the exact same page with that.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. And I think it really does show that if they can show a fear, we don't know where these drones are coming from. Well, guess what happens in December? The military budget comes out.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And they are trying to build that threat narrative for that money. Let's remember, too, that as of January 20th, when the president changes and Doge becomes a real entity, where they're going to look for missing money, the Pentagon doesn't want them around. Don't come snooping here, even though we lose $2-3 trillion a year of taxpayers' money.
That's right.
Okay, don't do that.
Nope. Beware of dog signs up.
Exactly. And so why not all of a sudden have a legitimate threat that we don't know where these are coming from? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, right.
Military installations are some of the highest guarded installations in the world. If you're literally sitting at a U.S. Air Force base, whether it's Nellis outside of Las Vegas, whether it's Wright-Patterson in Ohio, Elgin, Elmendorf, okay, doesn't matter what the base. You're not going to allow drones to come in to where you have hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars of aircraft sitting there waiting for you to drop a drone bomb on.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing that.
No.
Okay. This is a test.
Yeah.
It really is a test. And I think that UFOs/UAP are being blamed.
Yeah.
And the 2017 people of UAPology, they're falling for it.
Yeah.
Many of them are falling for it.
Good point, man.
We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Hopefully some of you are putting your tinfoil on your knuckles. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this.
This is Spaced Out Radio and your host, Dave Scott.
Marie Palmer in the chat room's on fire right now.
Oh, really?
Brass knuckles and swords and knives,
Swords?
tire irons, aluminum baseball bats,
Oh, my goodness.
even explosive devices. She is ready for Black Friday. That's the attitude that we need to have.
That's right.
Okay? That is completely the attitude we need to have.
That would be awesome.
How about blades in the toes of our shoes?
Mm.
Oh, Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Marie, I'm falling for you right now, Marie. Falling for you. This is the kind of attitude that we need to have.
Yep. Yeah. Want to see you come over the boards.
White vinegar filled power blasters. Nice. Holy water will identify the demons.
You can see that some of the people have put some thought into this already.
Yeah. Lee brings up a good point. There are very effective anti-drone systems. No reports of any drones being taken out.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm. People, you should be preparing like the movie The Purge right now.
Oh, gee. Do you like that movie, Dave?
Oh, I love
that. Oh, my gosh.
I love that movie.
Just like, uh-huh.
Joe Monk is apparently going commando on Black Friday.
Too much information, buddy, but good luck to you.
Mm-hmm. There is going to be one person who complains about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Totally.
That's all right.
Totally. Necessary Dialogue says my Iron Man suit is ready.
Perfect.
See, that's the attitude to have right there.
Yeah. I think it'd be kind of cool if you had roller blades or something on.
Mm-hmm. My Pepsi just exploded. Excuse me.
Oh.
All of a sudden you hear the horn go on television. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The emergency broadcast. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., man.
This is not a test.
Right?
Attention, Walmart shoppers.
Cosmic Joe, you're loved around here. Hi, Lex Diaz. How you doing?
No more whistling?
No whistling.
There was something the other night.
Tim James, Sweet Robbie G.
Yeah.
Messaged you on Messenger.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Rob. What do we got? What's going on with Sweet Robbie G?
We got just over 90 seconds here.
Answering you back, Rob. Boom. It's nice and toasty in here today.
It is toasty. It's a nice temperature.
It is.
Today. That's right. You still got to go outside, though, and cool off every now and again. People don't know cold until it's really cold, and then it's too hot inside, and you open your window up like like 2 centimeters, if that, and literally your house turns into an iceberg.
Yep.
In like 48 seconds.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
February.
PRM, how you doing? What weapon would I be of choice if you participated in some Black Friday mayhem? I'm telling you right now, it's right here.
Yeah.
It's right here. I mean, I may have some spikes on there.
Check 1, 2.
You know, like steal Rob Halford's spike gloves from Judas Priest.
Yep.
That'll get it done right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. You need some chains around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
You gotta look 80s punk going into this.
That'd work.
80s punk.
Because nothing beats crazy.
No. Here we go, everybody. 5 seconds. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you for joining us as we're going to continue on with the UFO report with Tim James here momentarily. But first, reminder to all of you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out that free archives on YouTube or any major podcast network. The only thing I want in return is hit subscribe, ring that bell, give us a follow, and a thumbs up.
Yeah.
It costs nothing.
Nope.
It's fair. It's totally fair. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. He's Tim James. I'm Dave Scott. This is the UFO Report. Tim, where are we going, my man?
Well, we're going to go, and I found this declassified information from 1950. And for all of our lovely American friends, it's a Thanksgiving story as it happened on Thanksgiving in 1950. And it was called Seagulls or Saucers. So there are some redactions in here. So I'm going to change the names so that I don't have to just keep saying blank. So Thanksgiving Day 1950 at about 3:15 p.m., 4 things appeared out of the sky over Montgomery, Alabama. In the files of Maxwell Air Force Base is this story. The first object came from about 230 degrees, and when over Montgomery, ascended to very great height. As it descended, it appeared to turn over and over. This object then moved off rapidly to the northeast and disappeared. My wife saw this object as it descended over Montgomery and was moving off to the northeast. As the object flipped over several times while ascending and descending, I could tell it was round when viewed from the bottom and thin when viewed from the side. A few minutes later, another one passed over very quickly. Same direction, level flight, disappeared to the northeast. I was not able to obtain a witness to this one as my wife had gone inside the house. It was after this I called out Captain, and I'll say Captain Dave, and told him I had seen some unusual objects. For several minutes, we saw nothing. Captain Dave went into the house. After a few minutes, 2 more of the objects, of the same objects over, my goodness, 2 of the same objects came over together. They came from about 180 degrees. One continued on out of sight to the north, rising rapidly, but the other turned and came back over. This object then began to ascend and rapidly passed out of sight. Captain Dave came out at once and definitely saw these objects. He could not identify them either. In the above account, there is a reference to a Captain Dave. His version of the incident is also on file. On the afternoon of Thanksgiving, November of 1950, while I was in my quarters, Major Tim knocked on my door and said, "I just saw a flying saucer." Captain Dave, who was with me at the time, and I went outside to talk to Major Tim. Later, that same afternoon, after Captain Dave had left my house, Major Tim knocked again and asked me to come outside in a hurry because he thought I would be able to see another object before it got out of sight. I ran outside quickly and focused my eyes on an object that he pointed to. I immediately saw a second object. As far as I can remember, they were directly over the building in which we live. They were white in color, one followed the other. I remarked to Major Tim that one object looked like a seagull suspended in midair with its wings extended but stiff and motionless. The second object appeared to be 2 lengths behind the leader and at the same altitude. The second object looked like a white ball, the diameter of which appeared to be the same as its width at the widest part of the object that looked like a seagull. They were stationary for about a minute. Then they started moving north and gaining altitude. They disappeared about 30 seconds after they started moving. The 2 objects kept the same relative positions to each other during the entire time. Were the objects seagulls? There are substantial differences between the accounts that would require more complete interrogation and on-site investigation. No such follow-up, however, appears to have been made. A tentative seagull explanation in Air Force practice eventually becomes a permanent answer with the passage of years, and no critic is the wiser. So Thanksgiving 1950.
That's a nice history lesson right there.
I know, right? Seagulls.
It's all about seagulls.
I know.
Flock of seagulls.
And Iran.
Iran so far away.
Oh, no.
You do know that's a UFO song, right?
It is.
Yeah, many people don't know that.
No, that's true.
You know what? I'm going to bring that up here for a second.
Absolutely.
Iran, not the country.
No.
All right. Here's the lyrics to it. Just so people understand. Hold on, I got to type the lyrics in. I hate that. All right. Here's the lyrics. All right. Get through the first part. It's on the second stanza of the song.
Okay.
He says, a cloud appears above your head. A beam of light comes shining down on you. The cloud is moving nearer still. Aurora Borealis comes in view. And I ran so far away. I ran all night and day. I couldn't get away. And then gets into the abduction part. Reached out a hand to touch your face. You're slowly disappearing from my view. Reached out a hand to try again. I'm floating in a beam of light with you. And then I ran so far away. And I ran all night and day.
Gotta get that hair though.
Oh man, that was great. But it's amazing how so many lyrics are able to be hidden about this.
Yeah.
This topic. I mean, we talk a lot about Sammy Hagar because Love Walks In is something that I find very special to the UFO community. But there's a lot of songs like that, my friend.
There are a ton. And it's funny because you say that and then you go, okay, I can come up with one, and I can't come up with one off the top of my head. But yeah, there are a lot of artists that have written about experiences and they're hidden away. And you're just, because it's a great song. And 9 times out of 10, you interpret it the way you interpret it, not the way it was actually meant to be, right?
That's right. So I find it interesting.
Yes,
I do. I find it very interesting on how people can express it. And it does make me wonder, was somebody in the band, like the singer or something, were they abducted? Or were they just singing it because they had an interest in UFOs?
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, there's a lot of musicians, not just musicians. I should say that there's a lot of artists out there, musical, acting, whatever you want, that claim to have had experiences. And I don't know if they're more apt to want to tell the story because they're not in fear and because of their fame or whatever it may be. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, And like you say, Sammy Hagar, who's the guy from, was it Blink 182 and guitar player?
Tom DeLonge.
Yeah. Like tons and tons of experiences. And like I say, and they like to talk about it. So that's cool. That is very cool.
Let's see what other songs.
Yeah. Songs about UFOs.
Songs about UFOs or alien abductions.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's Spaceman by Biff Naked.
Yeah.
That one's really cool. If you've never heard that song, Biff Naked, if you're wondering who that is, great Canadian artist from the 90s.
She is.
Real rock and roll. Rapture.
Yes. By Blondie.
By Blondie.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Loving the Alien by David Bowie.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Excuse me. Let's see. Hangar 18, Megadeth.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the lyrics to that one. Hangar 18 lyrics. Let's see here. Okay, so he goes, "Welcome to our fortress tall. I'll take some time to show you all around. Impossible to break these walls for you to see. The steel is much too strong.
Mm-hmm.
Computer banks to rule the world, instruments to sight the stars. Possibly I've seen too much. Hangar 18, I know too much." Then it goes on. Foreign life forms inventory, suspended state of cryogenics, selective amnesia is the story, which is what abductees, because they get amnesia from
Absolutely.
what happened.
Yep.
And then believe, foretold, but who would suspect? The military intelligence. Two words combined that can't make sense. Possibly have seen too much. Hangar 18, I know too much.
What an uplifting song.
It is. It is.
And the words all rhyme. Like
Well, then you have Rob Zombie's song about doing things in a UFO.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is like
Yeah.
hybridization program.
Yeah, I love Rob.
Yeah. Yeah. He kind of took that one too far. It's a good tune, though.
Just a little bit.
Not going to lie. It's on my playlist.
Yeah.
It's definitely on my playlist. But there's a lot of songs out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of songs out there.
For sure.
What else you got for us?
Well, it was kind of funny that I ran into this. This was kind of a last minute thing. And again, it was funny because Rob and I were talking about it on Monday, and I just went down that rabbit hole. So we had mentioned that, in the last 80 years in UFOs and stuff like that. And I said, yeah, but we're going back ancient times, and there's lots of stuff about UFOs back then too. So I found this kind of a short article on it, and I thought, okay, this is pretty interesting. So in a revelation that has captured the imagination of historians and enthusiasts alike, new research suggests that ancient civilizations may have encountered unidentified flying objects, not UAPs, long before the modern era. These findings are gaining traction as scholars delve into artifacts, texts, and oral histories that hint at interactions with technologies beyond current earthly capabilities. From the pyramids of Egypt to the ziggurats of Mesopotamia, evidence of advanced construction techniques have always intrigued researchers. However, a growing number of experts now suspect that some of these architectural marvels may have been influenced or even inspired by extraterrestrial encounters. For centuries, hieroglyphics in Egyptian tombs have depicted strange flying objects that some believe resemble modern-day UFOs. Analyzing the inscriptions, linguists and archaeologists are revisiting the notion that these depictions may not merely be metaphorical, but possibly document extraordinary events witnessed by ancient peoples. In India, the epic texts of Mahabharata and Ramayana speak of Vimanas, which are described as flying chariots that transverse the sky. These ancient scriptures detail battles fought in the air with powerful beings commanding these crafts. Experts in Indianology are now investigating the possibilities that these accounts contain genuine historical occurrences of aerial phenomena and their implications on the perception of technology in ancient society. Further stirring intrigue are various Mesoamerican civilizations where the Mayans, Aztecs, and others recorded what they termed star people or celestial visitors. The archaeological remains of temples adorned with intricate carvings and astronomy-related motif suggests that these cultures were not only avid astronomers, but also held beliefs surrounding otherworldly visitors. Recent expeditions into the Yucatan Peninsula have uncovered artifacts that some argue affirm knowledge of advanced flight patterns and celestial navigation. While the subject still raises eyebrows in academic circles, the theory of ancient civilization connections with UFOs is gaining legitimacy, especially in technological advancements allow researchers to analyze these accounts through rigorous scientific methodologies. Notable historian Dr. Maya Alonso, stated, "We are standing at the intersection of archaeology and modern science, challenging previous beliefs and opening the door to new interpretations of history." So I found that kind of interesting too. I mean, I think obviously I'd seen it before, but or knew about these possibilities and things happen, and then the way that I guess they depicted these very, I guess, rudimentary drawings and carvings and what have you. But yeah, it's interesting because everybody gets stuck in, well, the first real UFO was reported in 1942. Not necessarily. If you go back into some of these old scriptures and some of these old drawings and stuff, they've been around for a long time.
Oh yeah. And even locally there is some,
right?
Locally at one of the lakes from the First Nations that have been there for a couple thousand years, there is apparently depictions of the star people out there.
It's so cool. And like I say, we all get caught up in the now. And I mean, we're talking disclosure, we're talking drones, we're all the current stuff. But to go back, excuse me, and actually kind of look at what some of these things depicted, it's really very interesting. It's like, okay, it just seems to make sense. And like I say, very rudimentary. They were chariots in the sky. Well, they didn't know anything. Obviously, they didn't know it. They knew birds, but there's no such airplanes or anything. So how would they describe it? They're chariots. They were carrying things, right?
And in the 1500s, it was sailboats.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was pretty cool. And I just thought, okay, it'd be kind of fun to share that with everybody.
Oh, I think it would be an absolute blast to actually see some of that, because those are little pieces of history we don't really look at.
No,
we don't take the time to look at, and I think it's something we're missing out on. I really do think it's something that we're missing out on regarding this. So maybe there's more to it than what we know.
Absolutely.
You look at the Egyptians and the Mayans, they both have depictions of what look to be helicopters,
right?
What look to be airplanes, what look to be flying saucers, what look to be alien grays, both tall and short. If they weren't encountering them, how would they know what they look like?
That's right.
Because the depictions of those actually look nothing like the humans that they draw.
No, for sure.
This is something completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
And you're right. And you look at some of the drawings, and they have they're still adorned with, it looks like the same similar sort of clothing, but the skulls are elongated the way that they've drawn them. And I'm just guessing here. I do not think that we found a mass bunch of skulls that are elongated that are in the Smithsonian or anything like that, right? So yeah, very cool stuff. Japan has some stuff. I kind of went down that rabbit hole and was like, oh geez, squirrel. And yeah, if you have a chance and you haven't done it yet, I definitely go back and have a look. It's fun. And we're all in this boat together, and we're all believers and knowers and experiencers. So yeah, go back and learn some history.
All right, quickly, I want to just get your take on the Ariel lady Emily Trim passing away in her late 30s.
Yeah, it very, very strange. Well, not strange, but it's sad. And obviously everything's being held quiet right now. But yeah, somebody that was the most vocal about all that stuff, and like the guests were saying tonight, seen some of her stuff, and she's very emotional and very tearful, and her messages were super strong and meant to be good for the human race. And yeah, it's sad. It's sad to know that she's passed, and hopefully she's gone on to a better place.
We need more people like her to be brave enough to talk about those situations.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many of these, and I realize for a lot of experiencers out there, their experiences are very traumatizing.
Sure.
One way or another, whether it was a positive experience or whether it was a negative experience.
Sure.
It's still very traumatic what has happened. When you see something with your own eyes that you shouldn't see or that shouldn't exist, and then it multiplies by that craft coming down at the Ariel School in Zimbabwe, and the beings actually coming out and communicating, it is scary.
Well, sorry.
And I guess the point that I'm getting at before I pass it over to you is I understand why so many people are not brave enough to come forward. They want to forget about it. They don't want to believe it happened. They're scared to be laughed at, to be ridiculed.
Yeah,
There's a lot of excuses as to why not to come out. But Emily Trim was one who took this head on and said, we need to tell the world about this.
Yeah.
This is important.
Yeah.
And I hope more people find the strength that she had to actually come out and talk about it. She, in my opinion, goes down with the legends like Betty and Barney Hill, like the Andreassens, like Calvin Parker, like all of the others who have come before and will come in the future.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, I'm just the bravery and just the drive, like you were saying, 10 years old, approached by aliens, spoken to by aliens, having to grow up in that and still pushing forward with all the adversity and the ridicule and people speculating that you're crazy and stuff. I just can't believe a 10-year-old did that from 10 years old up and just push so hard facing all of that adversity. It's too bad that she left us so soon.
It very much is. Thank you, Tim, for an incredible UFO report. Thank you for pushing the limits once again. And thank you for cheering on the United States for Black Friday.
Do it.
And getting it back to normal, because we really need that. We very much need God himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your car, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LPAP, Facebook, Streamer, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, #SpacedOutRadio.
I know you're out there somewhere.
Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us. Because together, my friends,
we're watching.
We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot. We need a fan. Yes, the blue train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Major Lee. That was fun.
Yeah. as that I'm reading, and my tablet died. I'm like,
No, you could have signaled me.
no, that's okay, because I gave it the. I was like, "Come on, baby," and it came back up. I was like,
That's all right. Here I am hacking twice with my winter cough. Yeah, that always sounds good on the radio. What a moron.
"Hey, we all have those days, I guess, right?"
I know. I know.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you do?
No, exactly.
What do you do?
Yes. Long day today. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, okay. I'm taking a couple days off. All right. Both my drivers went down to Kamloops today. Didn't get back till 3:30. I got like 17 construction guys walking around. It's like, oh my God. Do. Where did Rob go?
I don't know where Sweets went.
Oh, he's like a gosh darn Houdini.
Total Houdini.
Now you see him, now you don't.
He's G-Dini.
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 Oh, G-Dini.
Right?
All right, what was the email? Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I better respond to this. Yes.
That's good. OG Dini.
Do. And you know what? I'm kind of amazed. A lot of diehard SOR fans out there that have eaten a plethora of turkey tonight, and the tryptophans haven't kicked in. They're still up. What?
They're eating tomorrow.
How do you know? What, did they send you a memo?
Who does the craziness of eating turkey the night before?
I do for Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah. Christmas is Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day is like laying around on the couch in your PJs.
Oh, you're one of see, that's what Boxing Day is for.
No. Boxing Day's ice fishing.
Oh, I don't like ice fishing, man.
What?
No. I shouldn't say I don't like ice fishing. But
I got the big hut and the heater and everything in there, and you just catching burbot and stuff. Yeah, man.
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly.
No, you don't like, or if you're not a ice fisherman.
You know what I like doing on Christmas? I like when it's about -10.
Yeah.
Outside Celsius.
Yeah.
And I like going out on the lake for a skate.
Oh, I haven't skated in so long, and I've wanted to get. I'd love to do that.
Oh, dude, it is so much fun.
Mm.
I have a beautiful picture from a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
One of those bucket list photos.
Yeah.
Of my dad and my son standing on a lake skating.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. They go out there and you see the guys out there shoveling the big square patches out.
How many inches do you think are on SEPA now? Because it's been frozen for a few weeks now.
Well, it's so tiny, right? I don't know. Maybe 2 inches. No, it hasn't really warmed up enough, has it? Actually,
no.
We
need a good cold, like -12 to 15 stretch.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to happen this week for a while there.
What is it right now?
I don't know.
We're supposed to get 1 inch of snow tomorrow.
Huh.
Which is probably 3 to 4 inches in the forest.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Get into all those spruce. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What is it? It's -11 Celsius right now.
That's still snow weather.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even coming over here tonight, I was driving in, and it was that dust, dust snow. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, that's the stuff that's here until April.
Yeah. That's the stuff that makes the roads slippery as heck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are we looking at this week, man? We are. Oh, that's tomorrow.
Kira, how you doing?
Hello, Kira.
Hello, Kira. Oh, look who's joining us. Finally.
Who?
It's Fapperoony.
I think he popped in earlier.
Yeah, apparently his gout was flaring earlier.
Rich man's disease.
Yeah. He eats a lot of ham hocks.
Well, I can't blame him there. Knock on wood, never had it and don't ever want it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, it's warming up this week.
You know what? I can honestly say this is the first Christmas where I really don't want anything.
Oh, yes. Isn't that great?
No.
Really?
No, I want to be spoiled every year, man. The only thing I ask for, and I ask for the same thing every year.
Mm-hmm.
Want socks and underwear.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's all I need.
Yep.
And maybe a new wallet.
I got that last year.
Yeah. So my one wallet broke, and I was like fumbling through some stuff, and I found my old wallet that I replaced the wallet that I was replacing.
Right.
Okay. and my daughter one night had her wallet stolen.
Yes.
At the bar.
I remember. That. Yep.
And she's like, so she sees my wallet. She goes, I want your wallet. Like, you can't have my wallet. She goes, no, I want your wallet. Like, you can't have my wallet. She's like, I need a new wallet. Mine just got stolen. And I'm like, and she goes, I like your wallet. I said, why do you like my wallet? She goes, it's worn in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Because I'm, she gave me the...
You're super dad.
She gave me the look.
Yep.
All right, give me 2 seconds. All right, there we go. Just wanted to make sure. So she gave me the look, and I was like, all right, you can have my wallet. And I had gotten a wallet from Brad Bunt.
Oh, okay.
One of those credit card holder wallets.
Yep.
Doesn't hold cash very well.
Nope.
Didn't like that. So I'm thinking of going back old school.
Yeah. I got one of those, like it's leather, but it's like a whatever they call it, a radio frequency repeller wallet, so they can't scan your cards or something. But I love it when you get a new wallet when you need one, but when they're brand new and it's like, oh, this just does not fit.
You need to run them over with a car for a few times.
Yeah, or you got to go jogging with them or pour sweat.
Yeah. It's like a baseball glove.
Exactly.
You need to break in that baseball glove. And a baseball glove, like, I don't understand, like, these pro players who get, like, 2-3 new gloves a year.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
No.
I don't like that.
No.
My favorite baseball gloves were always my old ones that, that had broken in exactly to my hand. And a wallet is the same way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I always liked they had the Cooper gloves, and I didn't like the Cooper gloves, but the Rawlings gloves, they fit better on my hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Mizunos were nice too.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to take them and you get a new one and you throw the ball in it overnight and you'd wrap cord around it so that you can spray it with water, whatever you needed. And it was the best when they were new because you let your friends kick it around and stuff. We used to throw them out into the dime and the guys would be booting it all over the place. Like, yeah, just go for it.
No, you definitely need to break in a new wallet.
Agreed.
So you don't know if you're hunting on Saturday?
I do not know. Straight up.
We're coming on 2 months since we've hunted together.
I know.
The last day.
Not forever. No, is it? I don't even know. I haven't even looked.
30th is the last day for birds.
Oh, okay. But yeah, then was it deer down for a bit and then they come back up, I think.
No, deer have already done the down and back.
Oh, so then it'll be
The
any buck.
Only thing after 30th. The only thing after the 30th is rabbits.
Wabbits?
Wabbits.
Who wants wabbits?
I don't know. I don't like shooting rabbits.
I've done it. Well, I guess they're hares and not really rabbits, but yeah, I've got a couple. Cleaning them super simple. Processing them is super simple. Cooking them, you got to make sure that you cook them good.
Yeah, because they have no fat on them.
Well, no, that's how guys would starve, right? Well, not starve, but guys, trappers and stuff in the winter because there is no fat. So they'd eat rabbit meat. They had nothing helping them out besides the food going into their belly. But yeah, they wouldn't put on any fat. And then you watch the shows, what is it, Alone and stuff like that, where they're dropped off out there. And now I get why they boil everything, right? Yeah, just throw it all in a pot and boil it because the broth's got fat and junk in it. Like just but yeah, rabbit's not my favorite, that's for sure. Either's duck. Not a duck guy.
Never tried duck.
Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Chinese food, like not necessarily Peking duck, but when they have duck, I've enjoyed that barbecued and stuff. But I know lots of guys that are duck hunters and go, "Hey, come on over, we're having a feed," and it's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good."
No. How do you like my new pointy stick?
That's so nice. Needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Just the barrel needs to be cleaned up.
Do you know a guy?
Do I know a guy? I know a couple. There's a little Marky Spender.
He'll tell me do it yourself.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah. No, I can clean that up for you. How's the other one? How's the other pointy stick doing?
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect. No, that's nice. And that was your grandfather's?
Yeah, it was my grandfather's.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Have you had it? Have you even fire or
No?
No,
I just got it when I was down in Abbotsford.
Oh, right. That's where I was like,
Yeah,
why were you off on Monday? That's right. Dave was in Abbotsford. Got my thumb on the pulse.
Right. That's right. So we pull in, figure that we're going to go to Cactus Club for dinner.
Nice.
It's like 9 o'clock at night.
Mm.
And there are dozens of people just walking in.
Yeah.
Dozens. So drive over to the keg.
They're closed?
No.
Oh, really?
No. And my boy says, I would like a lobster, Dad.
That a
Lobster
boy.
tail. So I'm like, okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay. But my boy eats very simplistically.
Yes.
Okay, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He likes one thing on his plate. He doesn't like
Yes.
garnishes. He doesn't like vegetables. Like,
yeah.
He's a carnivore.
Yeah. Good boy.
Yeah. So he polishes the lobster.
Oh, good.
Then ate half of mine. Right. And I'm like no dip in the butter or nothing.
Oh, really?
No.
Just ate her.
he doesn't like dip.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, dude, you're missing out.
Yeah. No kidding.
I love lobster, dude.
Me too. I really love it.
What's amazing though is how small lobster tails are getting in restaurants now.
Because they're technically not lobster. All right.
I know that, but it still shouldn't be legal. The sizes that they are.
No. Have you ever had a full Atlantic lobster on a? Oh my gosh!
Yeah. When I was in Provincetown, Massachusetts, which is literally the tip of Cape Cod.
Yep.
So Cape Cod does this big Grinch's curl.
Mm-hmm.
right on the tip. And I was even afraid to look at the water because literally there's signs for great white sharks everywhere.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm petrified.
Yeah.
And I did brave myself that weekend and actually walked on like a big giant like rock, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know, they
breakwater.
Breakwater. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did do that. And I was scared I couldn't keep my eyes out of the water, man. I'm thinking like Jaws could swim right there. Yeah, I had it playing in my head. But almost 90% of the restaurants there served lobster. Like
oh, yeah.
Fresh.
Yep.
And I mean, the lobster tails from out there are nothing like we get on the West Coast.
No.
We get ripped off here.
Huge.
We get really ripped off here.
Yeah. Went back to Nova Scotia about 15 years ago. We flew back for meetings and whatever, and it was during lobster season, and I'd always had lobster tails like you're talking about. I was like, yeah, I'll take a lobster and a steak. And I remember the server looking at me, and she was like, "You're gonna eat all that?" I couldn't figure out why she was looking at me strange. And then when it came out, I was like, "Oh, I get the whole lobster." The thing was on a platter, and the claws were probably as big as my hand. But so good, like so good. But yeah, I took the steak home, but I ate all the lobster, and oh my, so sweet. And it's like Dungeness crab too. I like that.
Yeah, I'm not a Dungeness fan.
Snow crab, king crab.
I love king crab. Love king crab.
Yeah.
I when I was in Las Vegas for my 41st birthday,
Right.
there to see Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
And my buddy Ping and I, we were the first 2 nights we saw GNR.
Mm-hmm.
My birthday night and the night after.
Go back to see what you forgot.
So I'm like, dude, it was my birthday 2 days ago, and we haven't even gone for dinner for my birthday yet.
Oh, no.
So he's like, where do you want to go? I don't know. I want steak. I want a steak and lobster. So we're staying at the Mirage, which is now closed.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking for a steakhouse. Walk by this slot machine. I got $10. Yeah, $350 later. And
nice.
That was the first time I actually won on a slot machine.
Cool.
And so I ended up, like, there was a steakhouse right there. So we go in there, and for $168 US, you got 40 ounces of steak.
Holy.
Plus a lobster, which was probably this long.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
40 ounces.
And yeah, we did some damage that night.
You shared this.
Oh, yeah, we shared.
I was going to say, holy cow.
Yeah. We each did about 20 ounces of steak.
Oh, got the sweats.
Oh, no.
No meat sweats?
No. This was it was T-bone and it wasn't prime rib.
No.
Ribeye. Ribeye.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, it was ribeye and 20 ounces of that.
That's a big freaking steak.
Yeah, for $168.
If you ate it all, it was free.
Oh, no, dude.
Not too bad.
Dude, we pigged.
Yeah.
We pigged. That was the biggest lobster I've ever eaten.
That's awesome.
Like the claw meat, like you mentioned, the claws the size of your hands.
Save them to the end or do you eat them first?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, what do I do?
Guns N' Roses is the greatest band ever, Fap. You know, I'm taking guys taking pot shots when his favorite band is Nana Muscuri and right.
Roger Whittaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 50th birthday, I was in Portland in Oregon and went to Ruth Chris, I think it's called. Yeah, Ruth Chris restaurant. And the best steak I've ever had in my entire life. I was like, oh my gosh. Remember the guy even say to me, he says, "You're Canadian, right?" I was like, "Yep." He goes, "Good. Then you won't ask me for ketchup." And I was like, "What?" He just looked at me and walked
Who
away.
does that sin?
I don't know.
I've
I think
heard of
Deb
this
from
before.
SAC does. I think we talked about this before.
Oh my God.
Deb Rooney does, I think, doesn't
Deb,
she?
do you put steak on your or ketchup on your steak?
Somebody does. I thought it was her. Yeah. But yeah, I remember him saying that to me. So you're not going to ask me for ketchup? I was like, why would I ask you for ketchup?
Overrated food? Salmon.
I agree. I'd rather eat halibut all day long.
Maybe it's because I grew up around salmon.
Well, we West
Fish,
Coasters,
West Coast fish for salmon, and everybody, salmon this, salmon that. I tried it, man. I didn't like it.
I don't mind it, but I can't sit and
the smell is horrible.
It is. It is.
It's like lamb. It stinks up your house for days.
I'm not a lamb fan either. Right?
Oh man. I came home.
She's got the yum yum. So Deb does put ketchup on
I came home one day from work, and the Mrs. father and girlfriend were here cooking us dinner.
Excellent. Dutch, right?
Yeah. And my entire kitchen smelled like lamb. My entire house smelled like lamb. I pulled the partner to the side. So what the hell is this? And I walked out and went for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is nothing worse than when you work a hard day and you come home to the stench of lamb or fish.
Yeah. Yep. Cooking fish in the house. Like,
oh my gosh.
Halibut, I'll eat all day long. I love that stuff, man. Just like butter. But salmon, I can take it or leave it. Fresh rainbow trout now.
No, any fish. Just
really?
I'll catch it.
Yeah.
I'll catch it. But I won't eat it.
Really?
Can't stand fish. It literally, the second I get it in my mouth.
Oh, really?
I get the yeah.
Yeah, can't do it.
Yep. And it just grosses me out. Now, if I was forced to, okay.
I get it.
If I was forced to, I'd force myself to eat it.
Sure.
But I'll tell you, I would have a lot of spice.
Yeah.
And a lot of garlic in there.
Yeah.
Right?
So like fish and chips, you can't?
No, get rid of the shit. No fish whatsoever.
Okay. No, I was just checking. Because it's like me with peanut butter. I like peanut butter sandwiches, but I don't like peanut butter cups, right? So
how do you not like Reese peanut butter cups?
They're freaking disgusting.
They are one of the greatest snacks ever.
I don't know what it is. Ever since I was a kid, man, it was like I put it in my mouth and I can't do it. Plus, I'm not a huge chocolate fan either. But yeah, the combination, or if you put peanut butter when they get, what is it, in ice cream? Like,
no,
it's like, what are you doing?
No, that's wrong.
Yeah,
that's wrong.
No, not a fan.
No, that is completely wrong. That should never be done. Okay, I agree with you there.
Thank you.
All right.
I put peanut butter on pancakes, though.
No.
Oh, damn. When I was moving furniture for a living back in there, way back, you go for breakfast and you get a stack of the IHOP, stack of pancakes, and you put the peanut butter in the just mow down. You'd burn it all off like
cold pancakes with strawberry jam rolled.
Oh, I've done that. That's good too.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. FAP. Looks like somebody hasn't got a high five in a while with that comment.
Oh my God. But he's still here.
Well, that's what happens when you bathe in extra virgin olive oil, thinking your sex life will change.
Oh.
He's a Dodgers fan. What can I say?
Yeah.
He's a Kings fan.
Really?
Yeah. He's a Laker fan.
No.
Yeah.
It's like being a Canadians fan. I hate that.
No, it's like being a Maple Leafs fan.
There you go. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, nobody should ever put themselves through that.
No.
Don't recommend it.
Wear a Leafs jersey? Oh no. So we'll have to do that one night. You have to wear your Oilers jersey, and I'll wear my Canucks jersey in. Because I have an actual Trevor Linden captain's jersey.
Nice.
Which is super cool.
Yep.
Deborah Rooney. Catch up, Deb.
Mm-hmm. Good old ketchup Deb. Right there. Throwing another 5 heater at us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, Anne-Marie Palmer, you could come join us in Vegas May 1st to 4th, and we'll teach you how to sit on the slot machines.
There you go.
She's never played a slot machine before.
Yeah.
Or been to a casino.
Oh, Niagara Falls. Hard Rock? That place was just nuts. Absolutely nuts. There's a casino on every corner in Niagara Falls. It's crazy.
I like Vegas.
Yeah. Caesars in Windsor, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to go, I was told.
You got to go?
I have to go.
To Vegas?
Yep.
Well,
I was just told, you've got to go.
You got permission.
I don't need permission.
You totally got permission.
No, she said to me, she goes, I think you should go. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm thinking, no. She goes, no, you should go. I was like, oh. I says, it's just debauchery. It'll be just Dave and I and debauchery.
And Merle.
Sorry, Merle. And she goes, that's okay. I was like, cool.
We're going to go shoot some guns.
Yes.
Yeah. I want to, you know what? We'll go to the gun store.
Mm-hmm.
The last time I was there was like 2012.
Okay.
No, 2009.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I fired an MP4.
Okay.
That was fun.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I fired an AK-47, which I couldn't believe how heavy it was.
They're super heavy.
And then I fired a sawed-off shotgun.
No.
That was fun.
Nope.
That was fun.
No.
Richard Hauser, how you doing? I use mayonnaise with French fries, by the way.
Attaboy.
Mayonnaise, gravy, and French fries.
Yeah.
Great combination.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get a little spicy with it, vinegar on the fries with doing that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think this time though, I'm gonna go. I want to try a handgun because I've never fired a handgun.
And not as they're fun. I've fired them before, but when you first do it, everything's like just right. And amazing how off target you can actually be with it.
Oh yeah, I want to try that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we'll find some other toys to play with.
Yeah,
because you get for like $200, you get like 3 choices.
Oh wow,
for $150 or whatever it is.
I've done the AK-47s before, but I've never actually fired a M16.
I like to do that. I'd like to try an AR-15 too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because we don't have those here.
Nope.
No, we're not allowed those kind of fun toys here.
No. Dear leader.
Dear leader. And, got to put a bolt in your magazine so it doesn't go past the amount of bullets.
Yeah.
Ruin a good magazine.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. That's why you go across the line into Cabela's and buy.
Right. Until they search your vehicle.
Yeah.
What are you doing with this? Oh, not much.
I came back from Cabela's in my truck with a wall tent behind my front seat. And I've still got it. It's huge. It's like 14 by 16. Got anything coming back with? Nope. Just went down to Cabela's, picked up a couple of keychains, got a sticker, blah, blah. Okay, see ya. It's like, I'm like, see ya.
When I went down to Vegas for my pre-divorce party.
Yeah.
Get to the border crossing in Aldergrove there at about, I think it was like 10, 11 at night.
Perfect.
Guy says, what are you bringing back? I said, my dignity. He just starts pissing himself laughing. He goes, see ya.
Right on.
Yeah. No, sorry. It was, he's pissing himself laughing. He goes, well, that's much better than what the car ahead of you just said.
Oh, no.
See you later.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Draculich, welcome to SOR Chat. Yes, we've been following the drone flap
Mm-hmm.
in the UK.
Little much.
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
No.
I don't know about that one.
We'll have to see. I mean, geez, stating the obvious, but see what comes out tomorrow, and probably the same rhetoric.
Oh, I'm tired.
Me too.
All right, everybody. Tomorrow night on the show, Dr. Simeon Hine will be here, remote viewing UFOs and much, much more. I want to say a big thank you tonight to Deboruni ×4, Kira, Pam, Dry Toast, the best name on YouTube.
Exactly.
Major Lee, Richard ×2, Sweet Donna C, Susan, Search and Destroy, La 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 La, Bright.
Yep.
Cosmic Joe, who's loved around here,
Mm-hmm.
and Tim Mothman and his goatee.
Right on.
Thank you, everybody. I'm tired. Going to bed.
Happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. We love you all. And for God's sakes, brawl on Friday. Come on. Come on. Get her done, people. No more messing around. This is America.
Let's get ready to rumble.
This is America. Do yourself proud.
America.
Yeah.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.